When the standings aren't looking as good as it should be at this point in the season as a race car driver, you tend to look forward to tracks where you're quick enough to drive away from your competition, tricky enough to catch out your competitors, or consistent enough to finish strong. What do you get when you take all that away? You get a track that nearly every driver has a chance to win at, and many drivers that are desperate at winning a chance at getting the cup. We are here at Talladega Superspeedway for the final round of the regular season for the Area Cup Series, where we will determine tonight who are the 12 drivers that will race it out for the chance at a playoffs for the championship. My name is Finity Kuna here with Hunter Sleppy tonight. As I mentioned, Hunter, we have that final round coming up for the season, for the regular season at least, and many drivers desperate for a chance at a cup.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to slim it down pretty soon here to just 12 drivers eligible for the the Cup season, Kyle. The regular season ends tonight, and there's still some guys that are on the outside looking in. Guys like David Weishart need a win to get in. Same with Andrew Payne, Philip Groner, Bailey Turner. They're all outside the top 20. And with a win tonight, all four of those guys would be locked in if one of them wins. So they win, they're in the top 20 in points. They're good to go. Same thing with Tyler Nichols and Jonathan Oates. Now, although they're inside the top 20 in points, they need a win as well because their situation's way too dire to be that close to the top 20s in points. But the gap to 12th, very interesting, Finian. 13th place in points, Nick Silver, minus 29 points from entering the top 12. So only the top 6 are locked in. That's Seth Knoll, Jake Nichols, Jake Matheson, Peyton Howell, Adam Cabot. They all have wins. James Skylerly, he's locked in on points alone. Connor Horn, plus 63. He's got to feel good about that heading into Talladega. Then you got Michael Curran, the defending Cup Series champion. Sitting 8th, Douglas Dubingen, plus 47. Ricky Springer, plus 41. Blaze McKinney, plus 40. And Ed Shearer Jr. sitting plus 29. Now, although he is, for the moment, inside the top 12 in points, if we get a new winner, Finian, and if he has a bad race, he could be on the outside looking for the rest of the regular season. It's just that simple. You don't want to get caught up in the big one here. You want to be there at the very end, no matter what it takes, but you got to have a little luck when you're coming to Talladega.
Oh, you're definitely going to need quite a bit of luck for just everything to work out in your direction. We have over 40 cars here lined up to take the green flag. Now it's just a matter of determining what order they're going to be starting in here, as you got drivers already out on the racetrack getting ready to go for their one flying lap around here. Not a whole lot of really two qualifying here at Talladega. It's just a matter of getting your foot on the floor and just hoping for the best. These drivers are going to be fighting for quite literally thousands of a second here as they're all racing back to the start-finish line now to pretty much complete most of their lap. At least half the field is.
Yeah, I got some guys that are going out there. Only 5 minutes to put down a lap time. Should be interesting to see who's on the pole. Track position, kind of going to matter for the first lap or so, but really not so much. Although throughout the history of area going to Talladega, the furthest winner came from the 9th row in the 18th position. That was Jordan Martin. Got to go back to season 2 for that, in which he needed a win to get into the playoffs. It's happened before. Might as well happen again. Although last season's winner, Spencer Burns, he was so far deep in points that winning didn't matter. It actually took a playoff opportunity away from multiple drivers in the field, and we have not had a repeat winner at Talladega. That's kind of the fun dynamic about super speedway racing, is that everything's so even level playing field wise, where all you have to do is just hold the throttle wide open and just make sure you're not colliding with anyone, and you're in good shape. But Brad Slaughter won the first time here in season 1. Jordan Martin mentioned in season 2. Ricky Springer season 3. Jake Nichols in season 4, and then last season Spencer Burns. In the last 2 races here, Jake Nichols and Spencer Burns, they only led one lap. Jake Nichols ended under caution, but Spencer Burns made the winning move on the last lap, and that's actually happened once before. So Ricky Springer and Spencer Burns are the only 2 winners who have taken the lead on the last lap and got to the checkered flag first. So it should be fun to see who gets the checkered flag tonight.
Yeah, already looking at guys coming across in qualifying. Jonathan Oates currently sitting on top of the board in the 45 machine. Sitting on provisional pole, as I say that, Drew Jewett comes around the number 13, and he's been very quiet in the middle of the season, has not really stood out after jumping into the season head first and getting out quite a few solid results. Drifted a little bit further back, so he's in one of those drivers in a desperate position to get in. David Weishart, I believe you mentioned he's also in a similar position to that.
Yeah, Weishart's plus. He actually isn't plus. He's minus. He's 23rd in the point standings. The only plus side for him tonight is if he wins, and that automatically locks him in, because with that win, it would put him inside the top 20 in points, and that's the threshold that needs to be crossed in order to be playoff eligible. And as we see, Brad Slarv, season 1 winner here. Been dealing with a lot, but looking to get that High Banks podcast, number 88, at the top of the board, and hopefully atop of the standings after this one's over. Michael Curran looking to have a solid night and remain playoff eligible. He's got a new sign for us. Not sure what that reads, but looking forward to seeing what the 24 can do.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the bigger view for him. It says, is seeing collared moose better than holding your horses while getting someone's goat and having a bird in hand? I don't know if I'm losing my mind trying to read that or not.
It's a lot to take in.
I was reading that, my brain's like, are you sure that's exactly what you're looking at?
I mean, there's a first time for everything, I guess. And Jacob Bell coming through to put down a qualifying time. And
we'll actually run out of time.
Oh, no. Well, that's unfortunate.
Just as he comes through the trial, and so he's going to be, actually, it looks like he might have gotten that time down, but he's listed in 42nd. Either way, session will tick on over. And we'll go into a little bit of the warm-up period as we get ready to get things underway. And these drivers have a little bit of time to kind of cool off, collect themselves, get a drink of water, use the restroom, because the next 2 hours are going to be intense, especially for the drivers that are struggling for that playoff spot. And take a look again at the points heading in. And as the points stand, the top 12 are pretty good. On the point side of things, it's a 29-point gap between Edward Shearer Jr. and Nick Silver. And really, that's just going to mean that pretty much everyone you see in red there is in a must-win situation.
Yeah, they're all on the outside of the top 12 looking in. And, I mean, it could be a night where Ed Shearer Jr. has a bad wreck and he's outside the top 30, and then someone like Nick Silver and Matthew Bell or Travis Beckner could just scoot their way by even without a win. But yeah, it's going to be difficult for anyone on the outside looking in, trying to get in on points. I mean, it's easy to say, just wait for him to wreck and then navigate your way through it. Well, you don't want to be the one that causes the wreck or is in the middle of that wreck, because it could happen anywhere. It doesn't matter if there's a main pack or if there's a pack that's 20 seconds on back with only 5 cars. The wreck can come from anywhere, and that caution can bunch everyone back up and then do it all over again. And then you see the team standings. Solar Flare, they've just been dominant all season long. Almost a 200-point advantage over Powerhouse Racing, where they're in a tight battle with Slinger Racing Graphics Esports. And then looking at the bottom, that's the big one, because the team 9th in the standings, Tank Racing right now, they lose their charters if they're dead last at the end of the season. So them, Swan Motorsports, they're in a tight battle themselves, trying to not be last and to not lose their charters.
Real quickly, before we go into the main event, I want to thank the Area iRacing Twitch channel. Race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area iRacing emotes to use in chat and earn double channel points that you can use to redeem for free merchandise for just $5 a month. Join today. And I also want to thank our starting grid sponsor, Central Mobile Homes. Looking for a small or large home, a new shed, or a Triple Crown trailer? Look no further than Central Mobile Homes. They've been proudly serving Florida customers for 28 years with a plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers. Available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring. Head to centralmobilehomesinc.com to get started today. Take a look here as I saw one pack flying past the camera as a bunch of drivers getting that last second draft practice in before we head off to the main event. And of course, we talk about always Talladega, Daytona, and for better or worse, Atlanta as becoming, the plate tracks, the super speedway tracks, typically being grand equalizers. But that doesn't exactly mean that everyone, has an equal chance of winning. Some definitely have a better chance than others. Some drivers typically we've seen excel in plate racing, and they're usually near the front.
Yeah, it really depends on what style you're more accustomed to. Like, there's some guys who are more accustomed to the super speedway style racing, and some guys who are really good at other tracks but just cannot get this one master, this style. Whether it's Daytona or Talladega, they just cannot get the job done. But you see some of the moves being made by, there's Senesac into the wall. That's moves you want. That's good to happen in practice, not in the main race. You don't want that to happen. So guys are just testing out the limits, where they can go, how hard they can side draft, how hard they can push. Like right there, the 54, Jake Matheson, Bailey Turner, the 25. Turner needs a good night to solidify his playoff spot, but yeah, it's good to get these kinks out with time to spare before the race.
Yeah, and again, these drivers just getting their nerves sorted out because they're going to be locked in these cars and effectively playing a game of chess at nearly 200 miles an hour. And that can really be stressful. We're going to see, I think, a big difference in strategy. I think we're going to see a lot of guys, quite a few guys stay at the back. They're just going to hang things out, wait for the green flag pit stops to cycle. And that's actually another thing, too. Green flag pit stops, because we saw at Texas, of all places, that pit road caught out a lot of people.
Yeah, Texas has an interesting feature to it. This one's more big in banking, but it's a matter of closing rate speed coming off turn 4. You have plenty of time to get the car woe down, but all it takes is just one guy to hit the brakes and just not soon enough hit him a little bit too late, and then it could create a multi-car wreck heading into pit road, and that could be the end of your day as well. Not to mention with how fast they're going over 190 miles an hour, maybe even 200 coming on the pit road, and then having to slow down to 55, and then you don't want to overslide your pit box, and it looks like some of these guys are doing that. Ricky Springer definitely doing that. I believe Travis, is that Beckner in the 27 as well?
That's the 87 of McKinnon.
Oh, the 87, yeah, with bright Menards color. But you want to make sure you get that towed in practice and not have it done in the race like Ricky Springer just did.
Yeah, last thing you want is to get that speeding penalty. It's going to throw you out of the competition easily. So want to get that dialed in, get used to the braking, the poor brakes on the Super Speedway package, and then get yourself ready for the race. There's a couple drivers poking around here. So Jacob Bell in the number 6 machine out there, and I see him back on the track. It's been a while since we've seen Jacob Bell out in a race car.
Yeah, he actually said he last ran a race, I believe, 3 months ago, and that might have been the Area 500 that he was attempting to qualify into. So good to see Jacob Bell back and getting some race time in before Hurricane Milton comes in, because he's right in the path of it. So
yeah, I was gonna say there's quite a few drivers in Florida that I know, especially in like the main part of Florida, which got avoided for the most part by Hurricane Helene, but Milton looks like it's going to change all of that. So hopefully everyone's safe. That's the main concern for everyone. And hopefully, if anything, the hurricane will lighten up or divert. But best of luck, and I'm sure for a lot of these drivers, especially I know drivers like Travis Beckner, they're also in the middle of that path. Actually, where is Travis Beckner at the moment? Is he on the racetrack?
Might be in pit road.
Looks like he might be hanging out there. And speaking of pit road, we'll talk about the drivers that on the naughty list for this race. Trying to find where that is. Got drivers like Philip Groner, Dom DeLeo, Nathan Jump, JT Poole, Emerson Arden, all to the back. Big thing, though, and actually funny enough, we mentioned Travis Beckner. He's got a drive-through. That's not good.
Yeah, that's not good in itself, but the good thing about that is not only will he be away from everyone, so in case a wreck does happen, he won't get caught up in it, but he won't lose a lap, but eventually the draft will catch up, and 40 cars drafting together are better than just one running on their own, so that's the only downside to that, but good to have that happen in the beginning portion rather than have a late race penalty.
Jonathan Oates saw his name flash up near the top of the qualifying order, and he looking to perform pretty well. And Jonathan Oates, we talked about drivers like Drew Jewell were kind of falling off in the midseason. Jonathan Oates, exact opposite. This 45 has picked up really well, and so he's just looking to solidify himself. I'm trying to find where he is on the points total.
I believe he's 19th in points, so he would need a solid
I thought he was higher
run.
than that.
From what I'm seeing here, yeah, he is 19th, so he would need to win to get in tonight. But yeah, he's been pretty solid. He had a rough 40th from Chicagoland and the Charlotte Oval, but other than that, he's done pretty well. He finished 10th the last time out at Indianapolis, and then 3rd at Darlington. That's his best finish of the season, so he's got 2 top 5s and 5 top 10s to his name, but would like to add a win to that to solidify his playoff chances.
All right, and with that, looks like we're going to tick on over to the main race session and get everyone lined up here. 42 drivers lined up to go, 94 laps, my favorite number, and actually my race car number, funny enough, lined up to go. In 94 laps, we'll find out our playoff order, but first, let's go through your Roasted Gems coffee starting. No, sorry, Central Mobile Homes. Wrong company. Central Mobile Homes starting lineup. Starting on pole, Drew Jua in the number 13. We were just talking about both of these drivers, the 13 of Drew Jua and Jonathan Oates in the 45. On either side of the front row, both of them need a really solid run to get themselves into the playoffs to see what they can do from that front row.
In row 2, it's Seth Knowlson, comfortable in points in third, and another driver sitting well in points, the 71 of Douglas Dubig, rolling off fourth.
Moving on back to fifth place, Jeremy Miller, the self-described plate goat, going to be lined up fifth in the number 30 machine. We'll see if he can do from a solid starting position. GT Poole next to him in sixth, lined up in the 32.
Good to see JT back, and in the fourth row, Brad Slaughter Jr. looking to get his second Cup win at Talladega, starting seventh, and Bailey Turner on his outside, going to start P8.
Moving on back to P9, it's going to be Adam Cabin, the 07. He's lined up next to James Scully in the 7 car. He's going to be rolling off in 10th place.
Row 6, it's going to be Nick Silver in the 99, rolling off in the 11th spot. Then alongside him, Jake Nichols in the 73, going to roll off 12th.
Moving back to 13th, it's going to be Peyton Howell in the number 52. Next to him, Philip Groner, lined up in the 11 car in 14th.
15th, we'll find the 31 of Mason Kane, and alongside him, the 81 of Max Service will roll off 16th.
Back in 17th, it's going to be Michael Curran in the 24 car. Next to him, Blaze McKinney in the 87, going to roll off in 18th.
This is a fun row. Connor O'Kresick in 19th for the number 14 car, and alongside him, the 42 of Connor Horn. Will be fun to watch that tonight. He's rolling off 20th.
Back in 24th, it's going to be Brent Punkari in the 35 car. Next to him, it's going to be Jake Matheson, 22nd in the 54.
Ricky Springer will start 23rd in the 51 car, and alongside him, the 5 of Garrett Graham will roll off 24th.
Moving on back another row, 25th, it's going to be Matthew Bell in the number 8 car. Next to him, Emerson Arden in the 57. He's rolling off 26th.
David Weishart starts 27th in the 33 car. Needs a win to make the playoffs tonight, and alongside him is the 41 of Tyler Nichols, and they'll start in the 28th position with the drafty car, Cambry.
Back in 29th, it's going to be Greg Mitchell in the number 2. Next time, it's going to be Ryan Swan in the 30th in the number 20 car.
That's a dark horse starting 30th. Don't forget about Ryan Swan. 31st is Andrew Payne in the 70. Alongside him, the 77 of Seth Berger will roll off 32nd.
Back in 33rd is going to be Edward Sherrod Jr. He's lined up in the 17 car. Next to Ed Robertson in the 64 in 34th.
Dom DeLeo returns in the 35th position in the number 22 car. Alongside him, it's the 09 of Bryce Senesac that will start 36th.
Moving on back to 37th, Robert Colgan in the 94 car is lined up there in the inside row. Next to him, Travis Beckner, 38th in the 28 car. But remember, he's got that drive-through penalty he's got to serve.
39th is Cameron Hearn in the 4. I'm not sure if he's in the sim yet, but alongside him will be the 97 of Reese Schaefer in 40th.
It looks like I don't see Cameron Hearn rolling off, so he might not be. We'll see if we see him join later on. Justin Bonneman's going to be lined up 41st and number 9. And rounding out your field, 42 cars, Jacob Bell in the number 6. You can see the field racing off past the start-finish line, getting lined up and ready to go. And I think with the long pace lap, we will only have one pace lap as before we get going. And let's take a look at our weather. Not that it matters a whole lot, but just to get an idea what the conditions are like. You never know with the slick conditions. It could really play into the handling of these cars later on into the run. Track temp 102, not terribly hot. More on the mild side of things. Air temp 79. Just a little bit of a wind and some humidity. And as they head on to the back stretch, well, we don't have Kyle, who's currently sitting last in the broadcaster picks. So, Hunter, between you and me, we're first and second. I'll let you go first. Who do you think is going to win this?
This one's really different because there's no real strong pick here. There's been a different winner every time. Two of the 5 races, last lap pass has come, and I mean it just happened in a split second where your pick is running first, and then they get wrecked, and then they finish 28th. So it's basically like blind picking out of a hat. So I'm gonna blind pick. I'm going to stop scrolling, and where my mouse lands, that's who my pick will be. And it is 29th. Greg Mitchell will be my pick to win.
That's a long way back. We'll see what he can do from being all the way back there. And for me, I think I'm going to go with the driver that's currently sitting in second, the 45 car, Jonathan Oates. We'll see what he can do. Pace car, you can see making the left-hand turn off the pit lane, and then it's a long wait for these drivers working through the tri-oval where normally the start-finish line would be, but it's just past the tri-oval here at Talladega, leading to some entertaining finishes. We'll see what we have. We probably might have an entertaining finish in 94 laps time. We'll find out because we are green here at Talladega. Lap 1 complete as Drew Drua comes flying back to the start-finish line to lead lap 1. He's got Seth Knoll tucked in behind. Jonathan Oates still leading that top lane. And how about a third lane forming up there? I see the 609 drivers trying to get something going up there, and a little bit loose actually as Connor Horn's trying to make some headway.
Yeah, Connor Horn was in a good spot to win the last time around, but wrecked on the last lap coming out of turn 4 and wants to avenge that this time around. We're riding on board with him in the 42. He's got the 73 of Jake Nichols in front of him, and look at that, no fuel saving required. We're 3 wide at full speed here.
These drivers are not going to be fuel saving, at least at this point in the run. A couple drivers, a lot of the drivers from the Solar Flare camp, Jake Nichols jumping up there with a little bit of a block, see Scioli as well as a couple others, and actually the entire middle lane goes up top. And look at Douglas Newbing stuck in the soccer hole. No one working with him as he's immediately dropping back.
Yeah, I love the aid of Matthew Bell to pick him up. Really nowhere to go for him as, wow, on the outside lane, starting to get a little bit squirrely there. That is Nick Silver in the 99 trying to get around the one of Seth Knoll, who's jumped up, but dose out of Adam Cabot jumps up, and now Slaughter will jump to the outside. The 88 looking to take the lead, but it looks like he'll be on his way to the back.
That's the issue when you jump out of line and no one's there to catch you. You immediately lose speed. You can see him dropping on the order 9th, 10th, 11th, as he's finally getting picked up by, it looks like, the 54 of Jake Matheson on the outside lane, but they're still losing some ground. It's going to take him some time to recover. Meanwhile, in the middle, Adam Cabot jumping up to the lead.
Yeah, Adam Cabot jumping up to snatch that drafting spot and lead the outside lane, and they'll leave that time by. And look at how aggressive these guys are racing. Here comes to the inside the one of Seth Knoll. He'll have a shot from the 13 of Drew Drua to get him into the lead and be able to clear the 07. That's looking out the bumper of the 1, and Drua giving him a nice shove.
Ooh, what a nice shove, but it's looking offline. You see Seth Knoll trying to block him as well. That can get dicey. That can lead to a wreck if you're not careful. But it's going to chase the 13 up the hill to keep him in the block. And actually, there's Nick Silver as well. He's 13th in the point standings. He's looking at a win. So is Drew Drua, and so is Adam Cabot. I think, actually, no, Adam Cabot's not looking at a win. Scratch that, because he has a win in here already. But there's Jonathan Oates in behind. He's looking for a win. So a lot of drivers on that outside, they're already looking up to the lead and looking to try to lead as many laps and keep in front as long as they can.
I mean, another win wouldn't hurt Adam Cabot. It would just add to his bonus points and whatnot heading into the playoffs. But so far, the field's starting to get single file and starting to drive away the top 6 at least. Blaze McKinney's now jumped up to the outside into the 7th position. Starting to close back into the bumper of Jeremy Miller. He'll actually dive to the inside. He'll have a run from behind. I believe that's Peyton Howell in the 52. Going to go with him. Don't count out the 31 of Mason Kane. And look at Connor Horn leading the way on the bottom. And now Peyton Howell and Blaze McKinney jump down in front of him. They're going to get a nice shove through 3 and 4. And Blaze McKinney might lead a lap here.
Oh, he might lead a lap. He's got a huge push from the 52 up to the lead. We'll see if he can keep it going. I think he will. That outside lane starting to die off quite a bit. Connor Horn coming on through. And we saw Horn. He was trying really hard on the top lane. He found himself near the bottom and found himself actually with some company. Bailey Turner in the 25 car. Another driver on the outside looking in. He's looking for some good performance. So he's going to join up with his teammate, Connor Horn. And we know he knows how to get it done here at the plate tracks. That 42, I always want to keep an eye on. And he's going to immediately look to the top, get around Blaze McKinney. Try to block. Couldn't get it done, so Connor Horn to the lead.
Connor Horn jumps up to the lead. He started back in 20th, and in just 5 laps, he's moved all the way up to the lead. Blaze McKinney started back in 18th, and he's alongside the 42, trying to get the lead, but 609 teammates, Bailey Turner and Connor Horn, a little bit squirrely there with the shoving coming out of Ford, but the 25 going to give the 42 a good enough shove to try and lead a lap.
I want to give an update there. Ahead of the pack by not too far is Travis Beckner. Remember, we said he had to serve that EOL at the start of the race, so there he is, and he is not too far behind the lead pack. You see right there, essentially in the same camera shot, they're closing in on him quickly. On the bright side, if a caution comes out, he'll be the first car lap down, but I'm sure he doesn't want to be in there because there is a decent chance we can go green, if not the whole race, for a very long time.
Yeah, it does have a chance where it could do that, but the good thing for Beckner is he won't be a lap down. Or actually, he'll be the only car 1 lap down whenever they do catch him. There's only 41 cars in the lobby. Cameron Hearn did not join in time, and has not made another attempt to join back in, so it's just 41 for the time being, 40 of which on the lead lap. Here comes Jake Nichols to the outside, going to have a strong run, but that middle lane still going pretty good as Turner leads that time through.
Turner leads ahead of Blaze McKinney, ended up leaving his teammate for a moment, so he'll be leading, having the enemy pushing from behind. Jake Nichols trying to also insert himself into the battle. McKinney will actually end up leaving Turner, or I should say Turner ended up leaving McKinney, and he will drop out. The 87 charging on the outside as they approach the lap car, or soon-to-be lap car of Travis Beckner on the bottom.
Yeah, this is going to be dicey here. 3 wide closing in. There is enough space for these guys that they can go 4 wide, but this early on is going to be a little bit tight. Fortunately, they catch him on corner exit, so that's going to make it look easy.
4 wide there for a second in the middle. Peyton Howell trying to work around. There's Matthew Bell as well. And it looks like they will get on through tight in the middle of the field, but they'll get around the 28 and he'll be absorbed by the main pack.
Whoa, the 45 of Jonathan Oates had a shot to the outside lane, but that went nicely. A little bit more nice than I expected for Travis Beckner. If you recall from the Cup race yesterday, there were 2 incidents where lap traffic caused the big one. Suarez just jumped in the middle of the line as a lap car and wrecked himself, but the big one, the historic big one at Talladega yesterday, caused when the field encountered a lap car. The inside lane got all stacked up, and that's what caused it. So fortunate that those guys can get through unscathed this early in the going. About to cross the completion of lap 9 with Jake Nichols still leading. For the time being, Connor Horn to the outside, McKinney to the outside of him, although he's got no help, so the 42 is going to lead this lap.
Lap led for the 42, Connor Horn. Again, he's locked in, doesn't need to worry a whole lot about this race. I think for him, he's just and really the rest of the drivers locked in is just getting another win in the column, and they don't need to make sure that they finish well, because they know they're moving on to the next round and moving on into the playoffs. As he's leading ahead of Drew Jewell, who is very much in the opposite scenario. He needs to win this race, so obviously he has 84 laps left to go to find a way around Connor Horn, but it's, again, at 13, I'm sure he wants to stay in the front for as long as he can. We either say you're usually safest in the very front or the very back of the field. And why don't we actually take a look at some of the drivers that are near the back, notably Jacob Bell. He's not moved up a whole lot from where he started. He's in a line, and just give you an idea of where he's running. There's all the cars he has to try to get around if he wants to try to win this race.
To be conservative this early, Jacob Bell is a master of the super speedway style of racing. Although he's yet to win in the Cup Series or in any series at all, he still knows a thing or two about positioning himself at the right place at the right time on these super speedways, regardless of the series. David Weishart's also playing it easy. Now his only ticket to the postseason is with a win tonight, so anything less than that will be a disappointment for the 33. But he's in a good spot, Vinny, because they're 3x3, 10 rows deep.
Oh, they're about to be 4x4 here in just a second as Connor Horn's ditching Jake Matheson. It's an aggressive move to the outside. Not a whole lot of real estate. It's enough for 4 cars, but just barely, as Matheson gets absolutely freight trained from every direction and gets sucker hold on back. I am amazed they didn't wreck there out of turn 4. Got awfully close there.
They're flirting with disaster here on lap 11, but they're making it work. It's still a side-by-side battle for the lead. Seth Knoll on the outside, Adam Cabot to the inside. Solar Flare Power on the outside, and then the inside, it's all 609 and the 45 of Jonathan Oates, giving the 07 a shove. But like I mentioned, Solar Flare 1, 2, about to be 3 if the 7 of Skylerly can clear. They're getting squirrely heading into turn 3.
There's Peyton Howell, the pink and black car in the middle of the screen, making some moves. And up ahead, just saw a move behind the ticker. Seth Knoll trying to control both lanes. Left his Solar Flare teammates to control the bottom lane ahead of Adam Cabot. He's trying to see if he can get back to the lead. Up and there's Nick Silver popping on a line to the middle. I'm not sure if he should do that, but he's got a couple drivers joining. Whoa! Peyton Howell almost doored Jeremy Miller and caused a wreck there in the middle of the straightaway.
Yeah, those two had the same idea. They both wanted to go to the middle, and they almost door banged each other, and that would have been real bad as it's starting to stack up on the bottom and the middle lanes, but the outside lane still prevailing with the run off the corner. Connor Horn's going to have a nice run. Get it into the 73 of Jake Nichols. Start to stack the outside lane up, but the front two, Nolan Cabot trying to two-car tango their way away from the pack.
I was going to say, it's been a long time since we've seen a two-car tango, and it's not really going to work for long. There's James Scully getting sucker hole in the middle, gets picked up by Drew in the middle lane, and there go the leaders getting caught up on the bottom, and a two-car tango on the outside, the 42 and the 73 getting hooked up, and I think we'll see Nichols maybe lead this lap.
Yeah, he'll lead it by a full car length over one of Seth Knoll, but Solar Flare's flexing their muscle early. Although the 7 of Scioli mentioned a lap ago, he was about to run in third, but now he's outside the top 10. That's how fast things can change at Talladega. If you don't have momentum with you, then you're just a rock in a hard place, and you're just falling to the back. But the 7 finding his spot in line. The 1 of Knoll getting a shove from teammate Jake Nichols, and Solar Flare looking to continue their dominance early in the 3.
Look, here riding on board with Michael Curran. Looking calm and collected for the most part, riding in the outside lane. He's in behind Edward Shearer Jr. 10th place in line. He doesn't look like he's in any particular rush forward, just trying to hang out here and try to be there near the end.
Yeah, just trying to log in laps, get a feel for the car, what lane it's best suited in. Although the outside lane, Finian, in my opinion, if you're stuck on that outside lane and the big one happens, they go up. They don't go down. They go up on this 33 degrees of banking. And, whoa, Jeremy Miller went up and almost into the wall. He'll get a shove from Connor Horn, his teammate. And now that outside lane is going to get clogged up with Silver. Nichols going to jump to the inside of Knoll for the lead. We're 3 wide for the lead into 3.
Man, someone might want to tell these drivers there's over 70 laps left in this race because they are racing like it's 5 to go. I'm almost scared to see what actually happens when they race 5 to go. But Blaze McKinney trying to make a move to the outside Adam Cabot. There's Peyton Howell, elevator move from the bottom to the top, trying to get around some traffic. And there goes Seth Knoll leaving his teammate, or I shouldn't say leaving his teammate, went to go join his teammate in the middle lane. And try to bring them on through the middle of the pack. McKinney still leading on the outside. Cabot leading on the bottom, but that lane slowly starting to lose traffic. And in the middle of all this, see Brad Slaughter Jr. hanging out there.
Yeah, get a good look at Brad Slaughter in the High Banks Podcast 88. He's actually in the middle now, so he's looking to fall backwards now as the field's flying by on the outside. Silver's going to jump in front of him and try to leave the middle line for the time being. Now, this is also an intriguing spot to be in. If the big one happens, you're right in the middle of it, nowhere to go. Can't go outside, can't go inside, just got to hold your line for the best. Seth Knoll doing his best, still leading. Here comes Adam Cabot, though, going to try and get around him for the lead. Actually, it's JT Poole in the 32. Haven't talked about him too much, but he's back and he's leading at Talladega.
There he is in the blue and yellow Toyota Camry, leading a lap. See how long he'll stay in the lead, though, as Seth Knoll is powering on down. It looks like Blaze McKinney, he's tired of the 32 being in front. Going to immediately try to get around him on the middle lane, so Poole left out to dry, and as high as he came, he will fall back down the order. And a big block from Seth Knoll. He tried to block Peyton Howell. Howell going to ditch him and go to the top to join McKinney. Nick Silver on the bottom trying to catch him to the 1 as they work around a lap car. That's Bryce Senizak having some trouble.
Man, that was really sketchy there with the move McKinney made. Almost made things bottleneck 4 wide as they're going around the lap car at Bryce Senizak. So Travis Beckner now is still the leader for the Lucky Dog as Senizak fades back, but Howell's going to lead that time through. Already 17 laps completed here from Talladega, and the Solar Flare cars flexing their muscle. So are 609 Motorsports running second, third, and Connor Horn's there as well. Jeremy Miller's going to have a nice run to the outside, and look at them, Finian. The 609 cars, 1, 2, 3, leading that outside lane.
Yeah, look
actually,
at that.
4. All 4 of them are up there.
All 4 of them somehow ended up in the same place. That was perfection. I want to imagine that was planned in some way, shape, or form, but through the chaos, they were able to get something working, but they're not quite getting hooked up. The bottom 2, McKinney and Howell, got hooked up. They're taking away. That being said, though, the further away you get ahead, the more likely you're just going to be absolutely suckered up by the rest of the pack when you eventually have to let that engine cool. You can't push for that long. And there you go. You see the breakup from the bottom 2. Now here comes that outside lane, and on the bottom they're starting to catch back up.
Yeah, that middle lane actually being led by Travis Beckner in the 27 now, as he's made his way back. Well, really didn't lose much in the pack other than his green flag penalty, but he is slicing and dicing his way to the front. See Reese Schaefer there in the background below the yellow line, letting people go. That outside lane still chug-a-lugging along with Seth Knoll leading.
Oh, Adam Cabot going to pull out a line, but didn't pull out with any of his teammates. And there's, I see Bailey Turner jumping down, Connor Horn, Jeremy Miller left up top. You see Art Schroeder Jr. in the background looking to potentially catch up to the guys up ahead. Whoa, and I thought I almost saw Miller just get turned around.
Now Miller jumped to the inside lane. They had a strong run. The 88 was pushing Travis Spector. He'll jump to the outside. Nichols will jump to the inside. He won't lead this lap. He might lead the next one, though. He's the leader heading into turn 1.
Leading away. Trying to see if he can hold on to that lead, because we've seen him be extremely volatile up in the front. A bunch of challenges from drivers in behind. And they are far from over. There's JT Poole. Somehow managed to find himself back and forth. And this is always the hilarious thing. You see a driver drop back to 15th 1 lap, 2 laps later, they're back up in the top 5. Well, you only really get that at super speedway tracks.
Yeah, Poole's getting a nice push from Seth Knoll in the 1. All the Solar Flare cars with DC on them. They're the drafty car team for this race. Not sure if it'll be that way for the rest of the season, but that's a good way to identify them if you're a fan of Solar Flare or drafty car, as they're 3 wide behind, and Jeremy Miller's going to lead a lap and power himself around the 73 and Nichols.
He'll catch them out, and here comes the 24 and the 31 of Mason Kane. He's found himself up here. Decent climb forward from 15th, and is immediately going to tuck out a line, try to go to the inside Michael Curran, and that might prove disastrous because he's got no help from behind.
Yeah, he'll drop to the middle. He'll get picked up by Slaughter. They'll start to stack up there. Meanwhile, JT Poole all over the bumper of Jeremy Miller. Seth Knowles peeking to the inside like he wants to go, and he will go on board with the 73 and Nichols as his teammate Seth Knoll looks to go inside and take the lead. They're 3 wide for the time being, but Nichols going to give a push to Curran into Seth Knoll into the lead.
And Jeremy Miller getting left out on the top lane. Matheson and Ed Robertson, I can see out there, they're going to catch him. And I see Mason Kane joining them and a couple lanes shuffling back and forward. But Seth Knoll, man, this one, he is all over the place. Not necessarily in a bad way, but in a good way, because he's been darting himself all over the track, making that car as wide as possible. And somehow, someway, finds himself back in the lead.
Yeah, he's got a good feel for his race car. He can make moves anywhere, whether it's the inside, the middle, or the outside lane. He can be a very good pusher. He's very good at getting pushed. And here comes JT Poole, who was his pusher, going back to the lead. Peyton Howell's going to have a strong run. Here comes the 17 Ed Shearer Jr. going to split him 3 wide. Seth Knoll's going to find his space down on the bottom.
And actually ended up leaving him out, so he'll take in charge of that front lane. Trying to work on through. There's Adam Cabot, Blaze McKinney on the inside, and now can the 17 get to the front? Will he get a block from maybe the 24 or someone else trying to kill that momentum? And we see that usually is one of the most effective strategies, just going up there and killing the entire lane's momentum with just 1 block.
Yeah, this field is starting to spread out a bit more, a lot more single file and double file racing, not as much 3 wide racing up front. Meanwhile, mostly around mid-pack or so, but we still got some guys that are chug-a-lugging along. There's the 73 Nichols jumping back up to the outside lane. Going to have a nice shove from the 07 of Cabot.
All runs. Here comes the second lane on a charge once more. Looking back at taking the lead with Jake Nichols leading the charge, JT Poole leading on the bottom lane. And more or less the same group of drivers we've seen up in front for a majority of this race. In fact, looking on through, biggest mover of the race, funny enough, Jacob Bell. He's found himself up to 19th. He's getting there, that number 6.
Yeah, Jacob Bell's been on a climb, plus 22 since the start of this one. You can say the same about Ed Shearer Jr. as well, although he was even further up front for some time, but is now shuffled his way to fourth on the inside lane, a little further back on the leaderboard. But the 73 and Nichols finds himself atop the leaderboard with Adam Cabot behind.
Brad Slaughter pulling to the middle, trying to get in behind JT Poole to push him to the front, but looks like those bottom two lanes not quite exactly getting hooked up. As I say that, the bottom lane looks like they're starting to get hooked up and starting to push forward. Mason Kane dives on down. We saw him dive down earlier, didn't work out. This time might work out for him.
Got beeping going on. The intensity is all over the radar back there as Adam Cabot is leading. Bailey Turner in second. Mason King going to jump up to the outside lane. He's running third for the moment. He could be leading by the time they get down into turn 3, but that might be the 73 and Nichols. Huge shove from Jeremy Miller heading into 3, and it will be the 73 and Nichols leading in.
Solid run for them. The 609 drivers, at least half of them up on top, the 30 and the 42. And then we have the 25 on the bottom, and Adam Cabot actually also on the bottom, so both of them kind of flanking traffic, but nowhere for them to really go at the moment.
Yeah, they're just riding it out, about to complete 25 laps in, so essentially a fourth of the race, I should say, is complete. No yellows yet, but that can change and probably will change, although this does have the opportunity to go green from start to finish. But the outside lane starting to get a little more stacked up, on board with Mason Kane getting a bump from JT Poole, trying to shove him away from the rest of the pack, heading into 3. But here comes Poole to the inside, and Slaughter's going to go with him.
Left him out to dry, and Slaughter coming in behind to help the 32 out. Kane will go down low to keep the spot, and there's the Solar Flare duo of Jake Nichols and Seth Knoll to the middle, and then Brad Slaughter another move. He's not really being committed to anyone at the moment, that 88. He's just going wherever he feels the speed is. And this time by, Brad Slaughter will lead the line.
That's the beauty about being an open car. You don't have any teammates to work with. Sure, you do have a group of people you'd like to work with if you're an open car, but you're not affiliated with any team. You're just, hey, if I'm friends with this guy and friends with this guy and they're both on different teams, yeah, that'll work out for me. So he's just coming out here trying to win, be a playoff spoiler, running the 88 car, famously ran by a couple of Dales. Dale Jarrett and Dale Jr. won a lot here at Talladega, and Brad Slaughter leading the field in the middle lane in 3 and 4.
45 Jonathan Oates gave a big bump to the 88. Here comes the pack off of turn 4, lap 27 and 94, about to be complete. The majority of the drivers in this lead group, a couple drivers have lost the lead pack. This is the main pack. It'll take a moment to go away. A couple notable drivers in here. Drew Jura, he's dropped all the way back here. In 34, he's going to sit 8 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah, Jura led laps at one point, but starting to play it a little bit safe here with the rest of his Lucky Duck group as he's behind the 70 of Cedric Hunter. Actually, no, that's it's the wrong series. My apologies. But you get the idea. He's staying away from the pack. He's running 34th, which is right around 8 seconds behind the lead pack. So playing it safe. Same with Philip Groner, Douglas Dubigging, Tyler Nichols as well. They're all playing it safe. Same with the 94 of Robert Colgan. He's that blue car behind the 41.
You always see, though, sometimes drivers play maybe a little bit too safe, so they want to keep a distance but not be too far from the pack. Actually, last time through, they made some inroads, so they're starting to catch back up. Jeremy Miller, though, he's diving to the bottom, wants to take the lead back. We'll go ahead of Seth Knoll, have him push from behind, trying to take it away from Brad Slaughter, stuck in the middle.
Yeah, they'll be in the middle for the time being. The outside lane is not too stacked as it once was, but they're trying to replicate that. And as you can see that, Connor Horn jumps from the outside to the middle, but his teammate Jeremy Miller jumps to the lead with Seth Knoll behind pushing, as he's got Jake Nichols with him as well. So Solar Flare running second and third, and it's a 609 car leading, but he might get left out to dry. Here comes the 1 in 73.
Oh, he's going to get completely left out to dry. There's Travis Beckner. He's just fighting to get his lap back, trying to do it the hard way. As he will freight train. Whoa! As that was Michael Curran in the 24 gets awfully close to the 30 of Jeremy Miller. Almost caused a wreck as they went 4 wide.
Yeah, that was very close there as they're trying to complete 30 laps green here at Talladega. I have yet to see anything close to the accident.
They're wrecking. On the back straightaway, car spinning, couple cars spinning. Michael Curran spun around,
It's
and
all
I
below
think
the
we may
apron.
remain green.
Yeah, this is all below the apron, so commentator's jinx goes into effect, but we still don't have a caution. That all happened below the apron, below the racing surface. Tough break for Michael Curran as there's that pack catching him, and you got to look at our replay here from Hendry County Motorsports Park. You can see the middle lane starting to get stacked up, and then it was just a bad bump from Connor Horn. Connor Horn to Travis Beckner. Beckner with huge damage, and
he's out of it.
Got back into the 24. Yeah, it's not good for the 28 of Beckner.
So we can get a good camera angle and see what happened here with this group. I can't believe that wasn't a caution. A couple of them went spinning on the main part of the racetrack. There was the bad bump from Connor Horn around the 28 went. Got hit with the 32 and man, massive damage to the left side of that car.
Yeah, the whole bumper flew off as well. Reattached back on, but Connor Horn in the 42 getting a good piece of that. But this is the 64 of Ed Robertson we're on board with.
He's happened right ahead of him. There goes 42, a bit of a stack up. Surprisingly, not that much happened on the main track. Somehow everyone managed to scatter away and get through that, except for really 28 Beckner and Michael Curran getting spun around. Let's take a look on what happened because the pack got all sorts of torn up here. It almost looks like we went through a pit sequence, and I was about to start talking about that, but here we have this main group, about 6 cars strong. Then Adam Cammett leading group number 2 with himself, Weishart, Kane, Turner, Shearer Jr., McKinney. There you can see a little bit further back is Ed Robertson. They're pretty much caught up. And then a third group led by Nick Silver, Jeremy Miller, Reese Schaefer, Matthew Bell. So the entire pack completely spread out.
Yeah, that really spaced a lot of people out. JT Poole was another one who was running up front, but he was somewhat caught up in that. Wrong place at the wrong time. He's back, I believe, 28th in the running order. So he got through unscathed, but Michael Curran was one of the worst ones to come out of that. He's all the way down in 36th.
And there's Connor Horn, who arguably got the worst end of all of that. He is in no man's land, and this is just a really, you can see him, the hands on the wheel. He's not really trying at the moment because there's nothing he really can do except just put around here and hope for a caution.
Yeah, he's really got no one around him. The closest car is Garrett Grant. He's about 14 seconds behind the 42. Connor Horn's about 15 seconds behind the 24 of Michael Curran. So we'll jump back up with Ricky Springer, who's running relatively well and has stayed out of trouble for the time being.
Sitting in line, waiting for the pack to kind of regroup itself, and it pretty much has. You can see everyone's kind of caught up to one another. We'll take a look there from turns 1 and 2. The first and second group have kind of merged back together, and the caution will fly. I think it's a wreck further down the order. Where? I don't even see where the wreck was.
Max Service is in pit road.
Was it
maybe around
pit
where
road?
No, it happened on the front stretch.
Yeah. Oh, is this a green flag pit? Oh, man. What happened there? I almost saw, I think, JT Poole come flying through there.
That was Ryan Swan in the 20 who was kind of stopped on the racing line. So that, JT Poole, wow, this is really weird.
Take a look. Whoa, man. Yeah, Ryan Swan just cut off. It's parked in the middle of the racetrack and cut left. And JT Poole, nothing he could have done about that, really.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for JT Poole. I'm not sure how that happened with Swan. I know some cars were blinking in front, so I don't know if that played an issue or not.
No, just slow down on the... Whoa, man. JT did the best he could to try to avoid that, but wow.
Yeah, that's a
It just looks like Ryan Swan just didn't realize that there was a group back close to them, maybe? There he is.
Maybe he wanted to go lower and saw that the 81 was blinking and didn't know where he was, but that's JT Poole and Bryce Sunasak that split the difference with the 20 of Swan. That could have ended really badly.
Who's the other car that narrowly avoided disaster? I'm trying to find that second car in behind.
Well, the second car behind
Bryce
was
Sunasak. Yeah.
The second car was Sunasak. The third one was Greg Mitchell.
Here's a jump scare.
Yeah, that was a little too close for comfort.
Despite the decent incident we saw the first time, that would take a strange incident to actually bring out the caution. And as you can imagine, pretty much everyone's going to be coming down to pit road.
And race admin Carter Coop says the 20 of Swan will get a +2 on the rec sheet for doing a reverse Kevin LePage. Yeah, very, very interesting to say the least there. But
I was going to say that is an interesting way to describe that, Eric. I want to use that.
Yeah, that's a first for me. I've never seen that before. But yeah, my only guess is that he wanted to go lower, but the 81 was there and he was blinking, so he didn't know if he was going to go into him. So.
Race off pit lane's going to be close. Whoa, Jonathan Oates, I think, might have gotten it there. And a Matheson.
Matheson got it.
Oh, okay. Or did Jonathan Oates speed? Oh, no, he's back up.
I think he got the short end of the stick there, but relatively well. We had a couple of scares and had our first caution on lap 33. So it'll be a good time to mention about our replay sponsor that we got a good look at for not only the rec, but the non-rec, the Hendry County Motorsports Park. So racing is back at the Hendry County Motorsports Park, but it's not this upcoming weekend. It's next weekend, October 19th. You can see Cruiser late models, street stocks, gladiators, and more. As always, tickets are $15 for adults with discounted prices for seniors, teens, and kids ages 5 and under are free. So make sure you come see racing at the southernmost dirt track in America, located in Clewiston, Florida, off US Highway 27. Visit HendryRacing.com for more info, and I just was on the website earlier today. They have the 2025 schedule out there. So if you're planning about going maybe next year and not this year, they have that covered for you as well. And as always, you can see the flagman, Travis Beckner, anytime throughout the portion of Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, unfortunately not going to see him for the rest of the night. It looks like Travis Beckner's retired the 28 car, and that's unfortunate. So that's going to kill his chance of making the playoffs. Had a pretty strong car and had a really good performance, even though he was a lap down, was trying to just get up there and race with the leaders to get it back the hard way. But taking a look here at Jacob Bell, Reese Schaefer, they're coming down to make their stop. They did not come down the first time. So they will stay, so they will come in. Max Service will stay out because remember, we saw him. He was trying to come down and did manage to come down before the caution came out. So he is where he should be. Everyone else lining up in behind.
Yeah, he was the one that was kind of the little spark plug that malfunctioned for the whole caution to occur. You do see the ticker go from yellow to purple. That means we have one lap to go before we go green. So next time around, these guys will be let loose. And Beckner is the only one that's DNF'd from the race so far. Ryan Swan is still on. I believe he's out of pit road, but had quite some damage to repair. Senesac got stuck a lap down from that caution. So unfortunate for him. Him and Swan are the only two that are a lap down. So 38 cars remain on the lead lap, with the last one being James Skiley, but the first one being Max Service in 81.
Yeah, looking to take the field back to green as we get ready to go. Get the field lined up. So one caution to slow things down. You get a chance to put the spotlight on Brent Pincari, who's having a pretty solid run, is just up there in the top 10 after the way things shuffle down. You see if he can continue onwards there in VR.
Yeah, Brent Pincari, he hasn't had a solid season, but has had some good runs here and there, but nothing eye-catching. His best finish of the season, oddly enough, or ironic enough, I should say, came at Daytona. Actually, no, it was Texas. Texas was his best finish, so that's... Wait, was I even on the right thing? Yeah, I am. So his best finish came at Texas. He missed Daytona. That's why I got everything confused. But, yeah, the 16th place finish. Best finish of the season for Pincari. Looking at best stat here at Daytona, Talladega, the relative of Daytona. Much larger relative, as Ricky Springer there sits 21st on the racetrack. And he's looking to have a solid night to possibly clinch a playoff spot. And Drew in the 13, he needs a win to get in, or could rely on a big one to cash in and make the playoffs.
Yeah, one person this caution really helped out was Connor Horn in the 42 machine. He's being lined up near the back of the pack, but in the pack at the very least, as that pack gets ready for the restart. Pace car off and away. Max Service leading him down. We're back green here at Talladega with most of the cars stuck on the inside line. as we get going green.
Yeah, very weird. I'm not sure how that lines up, but do have some guys all the way in the back trying to get a second lane going, and it's working relatively well up front. The 73 Nichols is taking the lead over Max Service in the 81 with Adam Cabot pushing in behind. Slaughter in that third position, trying to get outside of them and get another lane going, but first 4 cars, single file heading into 3.
Yeah, you can see Seth Knoll diving down low. He's got help from Brad Slaughter Jr. Brent Pucari, we were just talking about before the green. He's third on the outside lane. We'll see if he can make something happen or if he'll ride in line. Now running 2x2, and I see JT Poole. He narrowly avoided disaster. Actually, he was technically involved in the disaster, but gotten that car fixed. He's still on the lead lap and ready to move up in the 32.
Yeah, wrecked or not, that 32 is determined to run up front and try to win a race and snatch a playoff opportunity away from everyone else in the field. Meanwhile, Brent Pucari mentioned about him looking to have a career's best finish here at Talladega. He's leading that inside lane, but it's still Jake Nichols on the outside lane. And running in third is his brother Tyler Nichols, who's looking to get his first career win.
Bailey Turner jumped down below in front of JT Poole, trying to lead in that middle lane charge, but it looks like they've kind of stalled out at the moment, not really making a lot of forward progress. Jake Matheson also in that lane. Whoa, Brent Pucari thought about going high. He got forced up high by Seth Knoll, and a stack up there as here comes Knoll and Brad Slaughter, and actually Bailey Turner charging down the middle.
Coming through, this time by Pucari. He's going to lead a lap. That's his 9th lap led on the season. He's leading that outside lane, and then you got Bailey Turner there in the 25 trying to get that middle lane going with JT Poole pushing, and he'll tuck in the inside, which was being led by the one of Seth Knoll, but now here comes Pucari with a strong push from Nichols on the outside.
Yeah, I got worried there that the 32 almost ended up accidentally turning around the 25. Whoa! Bailey Turner getting hip checked out of lane, entering turn 3. That is a dicey part of the track, and he manages to rejoin without more calamity ensuing.
I'm not sure if the 73 got a tap from behind or if he just made a move that aggressive to the inside. I mean, that was very close from disastrous.
73, whoa.
Yeah, no one near him. That was just an unusual move from Jake Nichols in the 73. Meanwhile, his teammate Seth Knoll was right behind them when this happened.
Well, man, good on Seth Knoll. Jumped on the brakes to kind of slow things down to make sure the 25 got back out on the track. Otherwise, everyone could end up in a wreck. But here they are battling it out now. He gave him a little bit of help, and now he's going to leave him out to dry up on the top. There goes Seth Knoll around, followed by Slaughter and Pucari on the top. And here comes now Adam Cabot with a charge to the inside by himself.
Yeah, really got no one to work with unless he drops to the inside lane trying to side draft, but everyone on the outside lane just flying on through. So he'll tuck in. Pucari is going to jump low now, try to generate a run and get some more people to go with him. But he'll just suffer the same fate as the 07, and the one of Knoll will lead this time through.
That's the issue when you jump out of lane like that. A huge shove from the 07 to 35. Almost, you got to be careful. You can get damage with that hard of a hit. But you have to be careful when you jump out of line. You have to have some sort of help behind you to kind of push yourself forward.
Bailey Turner and Max Service had a moment going into turn 1 where they were almost 4 wide heading into the turn.
Whoa.
But up front, McKinney in the wall, Slaughter in the middle with Philip Groner going backwards. Meanwhile, the leader's catching on Ryan Swan. He'll go a 5th lap down. Seth Knoll leading the charge as Swan hunkers down on the bottom in 3 and 4.
Yeah, just trying to take a look at the bird's eye view of what's going on just to see and make sure no wreck happens here because it always gets dicey getting around a lap car. Inside lane completely held up. Ricky Springer is going to drop on back with that bottom lane as they circumnavigate the 20. Whoa, I saw Dom DeLeo or someone in the back there getting to the wall. It was a 22 car. A little bit of hit to the wall. A lot of hits to the wall this lap.
Yeah, a lot of moving pieces here as the field's still trying to navigate their way around Ryan Swan. Most of them have. Meanwhile, the rest of them still trying to work through on the upper 2 lanes. Meanwhile, McKinney back in the lead. Going to have a nice shove from Payne Howell in the 52. Jake Nichols jumps up, going to lead the outside lane. Slaughter and Poole see that. They're going to react. Philip Groner in the 11 as well. Poole going to try and get a charge to the lead.
We'll try to get something going. And it's really a big breakaway for the drivers on the bottom lane. Off they will go. And there's James Scully. Haven't seen the 7 a whole lot really since the initial drop of the green flag. Drifted on back and haven't really seen much of him since.
Yeah, he's inside the top 5 now. You got Jeremy Miller behind. He's going to follow the 88 and the 32. Slaughter and JT Poole now 1-2 on the track. And look at everyone leave. McKinney and Peyton Howell on the inside lane. So Skyler's up to 3rd now. And here comes the rest of the pack. Hard charge on the outside lane. And with a strong move to the inside, that's Nick Silver in the 99 trying to get a run at the lead with Ricky Springer behind and teammate Jake Matheson.
So your racing esports graphics moving to the bottom. The trio trying to make their way on through and push that 99 to the lead. And that 99, he needs the win if he wants to make it to the next round of the playoffs. JT Poole, he doesn't need a win for anything. He's just trying to get the bragging rights of a win, fighting on the outside with Brad Slaughter in tow.
Drag race at the line. The 32 will get the edge on the 99 with help from the 88 of Slaughter. And now a 3rd lane has reappeared here at Talladega. We're nearing the halfway point of this race, and the action has died down one bit. Everything's been high-packed, intense. It's the last regular season race before the playoffs for the Cup Series, and we'll have coverage of the truck race tomorrow night and the Pro Series Thursday night as they wrap up their regular season here at the 2.66 mile Super Speedway Talladega. And JT Poole still leads by about a good margin as those other 2 lanes trying to get alongside the leader.
He's got a commanding lead on that outside, and it looks like no one's really ready to leave it at the moment. They're happy up there. You see someone try to maybe dive down low, but so far so good. Michael Curran getting off the coastal wall in the tri-oval. Off they will go into turn 1. Nick Silver coming back on the bottom. There's Jeremy Miller leaving the top, and so does JT Poole back to the bottom to block.
Poole's going to block the bottom, leave the outside open. Massive shove there on the inside lane. Slaughter's got no help near him. He's got the Ricky Springer machine, but he's going nowhere, so he'll jump to the outside lane, and that is Tyler Nichols in the 41. And actually, Ricky Springer was behind the 7 of Skyley, who is now leading that middle group. So the first 5 cars, about to make it 6 cars. Going to be single file and clear, and 7 now as McKinney runs 6. So that car in front of him, Bryce Senesac, he is, I believe he's still a lap down. He might be 2 down. Actually, no, he's 1 lap down. So if we do get another yellow, as long as Senesac's not in it, he'll be the lucky dog. And at the line, Miller's going to leave that time, but Silver will lead into 1.
Everyone is absolutely breaking away here, just trying to pass one another. Nick Silver back to the lead ahead of Jeremy Miller, and Miller, whoa, going to shove that car up high, and I saw the 51 getting punted out of line by Philip Groner. I think still a bit of a stack in the middle. Edward Shearer Jr. as well in the background getting dicey. Everyone was really dicey there off of turn 2.
Everyone on the bottom behind the 51 of Springer and Philip Groner, they were ready to take abrasive action to the inside lane or on the apron, but that did not happen. Hunkari all by himself on the inside lane. Silver's got all of his friends with him, pushing him to the lead. And that first one behind him being Jake Matheson.
Big lead up on the top side. JT Poole leading the middle with Skyley and Senesac in behind. Puankari leading the bottom lane. He's got Peyton Howell and Drew Drua in behind to help. And actually there goes Skyley and JT to the bottom. And I see Adam Cabot out of line. Pulls out of line with Connor Horn, his teammate, to help him out.
609 looking to head back to the front. Jeremy Miller, I believe, going to actually, no, he's in 3rd. That was the 70 of Andrew Payne, who jumped down to the inside lane. And now the 32 of Poole's going to jump up in the middle lane and lead that through as 4 wide, almost stacking with the 7 of Scioli, the 09 of Senesac to get through unscathed, heading off of 4.
And here comes the field rounding out at turn 4. Jeremy Miller leaving the top lane, goes to the bottom. Blaze McKinney joins him. That leaves Nick Silver and Jake Matheson out to dry up on the top. For the moment, they're going to try to push each other as long as they can, but they'll be met with the rest of the field with Tyler Nichols and Michael Curran picking them up.
1, 2, 3, 609 Motorsports leads. Here comes Slaughter with a push from JT Poole. They block on the outside. They leave the middle open for 87 to Blaze McKinney, but look at the strong run that outside lane gets. So Slaughter in the 4th. Hello, 3 wide, split 87 in the middle. Is going to get picked up by Senesac, and the middle lane stacks into 3.
They stack into 3 and lose all sort of momentum, and I can see Jacob Bell in the middle of that. He's been trying to move forward. He's going to get shuffled on back once more. Everyone's just trying to find some sort of real estate. We got 38 cars here within 2.5 seconds of one another. You can see them all right in the frame right there. All chugging along. As far as the drivers not in this pack, we have Bryce Senesac actually Scratcher Bragg, Senizek, and Ryan Swan, who are in this pack, but a lap down. And then, of course, Travis Beckner, who is retired from the race. The only retiree so far.
Yeah, as we're through the halfway portion of this race, so we are within the last 45 laps or so as the outside lane starts to get aggressive once again with their pushing, and they're leading by quite a big margin over that middle and bottom lane in the 3.
Cabot leaving that top lane, rocketing through 3 and 4. Bean Howell joining down low with McKinney. I think those two really like each other because I think every time we look at them making a run, it's usually one of those two in some order.
Yeah, they have definitely developed some chemistry throughout the race and could come into play at the end of this one. Meanwhile, it's still Adam Cabot in the 07 leading. The 42 of Horn is well behind him. The 30 of Jeremy Miller. 609 Motorsports dominate the top line and coming through the middle. I believe this is Andrew Payton. No, Drew Jua in the 13 starting to make his way back to the front. I was going to say he's been in every spot on the field, but the lowest he's been in is 38th. And he's looking to keep climbing up. He'll go with the 54 Matheson, strong run in the middle.
Yeah, and remember, he got caught out with that big kerfuffle in the back straightaway that nearly brought out the caution, so he got the short end of the stick with that, got put further down the order, but now he's back up here ready to make some noise. Oh. Jake Matheson cutting on through with Connor Horn 4 wide for a second as they somehow make it through there. That was almost a wreck that they narrowly avoided through.
You can see the excitement on his face. That was a thrilling move. He's still not letting off the 54's bumper, so they're trying to two-car tangle their way from this pack, but Adam Cabot stronger on the outside with Jeremy Miller, but here comes Matheson with the block.
There's the block and the shove from Cabot. Nick Silver going to pick up Jura on the bottom. Trying to see if he can get something going from there. Peyton Howell. Nick Silver trying to block Howell and McKinney. And there goes Jura left to dry on the bottom. As quickly as he rose, he'll fall back quickly down the order.
Indeed, as Cabot will give a bump to the 54, and Matheson now trying to generate a strong enough run to prevent the 99 of Silver and the 52 of Howell from getting alongside or even past them. Juju now leads that third lane that's slowly starting to develop again, and now Silver's going to be left in the middle. Here comes Payne Howell and McKinney.
Sucker hole for him. Nick Matheson working up on top, Adam Cabot in behind. Jeremy Miller, then Tyler Nichols. Nichols has been having a really solid, Tyler Nichols, I should say, has been having a really solid run in the second half of this race. Was not really much of a factor. Ooh, there's a bunch of shuffling goes on in the back. Consistently, he's got that car inside the top 10 this run, so that 41, he might be hiding something. He might have something yet to prove. There's also David Weiser, we talked about, one of the drivers that needs a solid finish, needs a win, essentially, if he wants to move on.
Yeah, it's win or go home for David Weishart in the 33s, doing the right thing, staying relatively well inside the top 15 as the revolving door for the lead continues with Payne Howell leading, Matheson now back in tow. It's just a drag race for the first two lanes. Meanwhile, here comes the third lane. That's not Philip Groner. That's Seth Knoll. Jake Nichols in the middle lane, going to jump to the outside. 3x3 down the back.
3x3, the momentum killed in the middle, but they're coming back up. Whoa, big wreck in behind.
Again, that's below the apron, but the caution will come out because it did trigger before they got to the apron, and it looks like that's the 77 of Seth Berger involved. Couldn't tell which one of the Solar Flare cars, but a DC car did spin out. Justin Bondurant as well. Bailey Turner, that's big for him. Dom DeLeo in the 22 also caught up in it.
Let's see what happened.
Actually, no, it wasn't a. There wasn't a Solar Flare car involved. It was the 9. It was the 9 that spun out first.
Is there a 9? Oh, no, the 9 brought around. That spun, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a bad bump from the outside. I think that was Scioli that was behind the 9. Gave him a bad bump and then sent him spinning across the pack. Actually looked like that developed even further behind with Greg Mitchell.
It is James Scioli, the number 7, as you mentioned. In behind here, I think a bit of a stack up. Oh, he got hit from behind. Nothing really he can do much more from then on out.
Yeah, this was right around 30th, maybe 32nd specifically, but this was well a bit ways away from the main pack, or at least the front of the pack, and you saw the stack up occur on the outside lane, and it trickled all the way down to the back. Bailey Turner hitting the inside wall. The 9 going to tap into him as well. So a few cars were involved in that wreck, and maybe everyone will come down pit road or some will stay out. Who knows?
Yeah, we will see, because I think they are still going to have to make one more stop after this, right? Yeah. It's kind of in the window. It is cutting it really close. You're probably going to have to maybe do some fuel saving. And so I guess since the window's opened up, everyone's saying might as well come down and get some fuel. We can avoid a green flag pit stop. And everyone is on down. Question is, what order will they come out in? Jacob Bell running on through. I think he might have missed his box. Off and away. Drew Jewell actually take the lead.
Poole might have had some help getting in from, I believe that was Douglas Newbigging, or not sure what's happened to the 32, but he had a moment on pit road. He's just now in his box.
Yeah, saw him spun around the wrong direction. Imagine he had some assistance. Take a look and see how that happened. Oh! Got hit by... Ooh. Hit Tyler Nichols and then got sent around by Douglas Newbigging. Was trying to get into his box.
Unfortunately, track position doesn't matter too much here at Talladega, so he could probably make that up in about 5 laps or so if all things go well for him. And looks like Senesac is the lucky dog, so he's back on the lead lap. So we still got 38 cars on the lead lap. Onderant is 2 laps down. Ryan Swan's still 4. Looking to get the wave around here, though. He was 5 at one point, but looking to get at least 1 lap back.
Looking at Drew Joa in the number 13, he will be the leader. I'm assuming Jacob Bell will be coming back down to actually service his car. And he is having a blast.
He's got a cat on the steering wheel.
Cat in the car.
Cat in the sim. Better for that under yellow than during the race.
Oh, yeah, I can't imagine that. Having a cat jump on you while you're in the middle of racing 200 miles an hour. I'm sure Kyle would approve.
Kyle would definitely approve. Cat's giving him some pep talk or pep meows, and
no, I was going to say that's
some rubs.
The cat's working the strategy. He's the mastermind behind the operation. As Jacob Bell pulls on in, so Drew Joel will inherit the lead. Have a little bit of dance with the cat. To get ready to go back green.
That eases your mind a little bit.
Tyler Nichols coming back on down, I think, as well as a couple others, and actually a lot of others. Wow, a huge amount of drivers down on pit lane. And I think that's just showing you how close they are to maybe pulling this off. So a lot of drivers coming on down to top off on fuel and get back out there. Just a little splash and dash, and off they go away. Michael Kern will lead the charge of drivers down here. Seth Knoll, Philip Groner. Actually, really, honestly, easier just telling you the drivers that stayed out. Drew Jua, Everett Shuri Jr., Robert Colgan, JT Poole, Dom DeLeo, Douglas Newbing, and Andrew Payne. Everyone else in the field came on down. So 30 other cars came on down, and they're led up by Michael Curran.
Yeah, they 8th on back. They're topping off. They know that it's going to be close on fuel and that there's probably going to be overtime in case this thing does go green to about the end, and then maybe around 5 to go or 4 to go, they get a yellow and overtime kicks in. So just trying to get that extra fuel in. Senesac might as well. He got the lucky dog, so he's going to be back in 34th from the looks of things, but could be a lot worse. Could be multiple laps down, but he's back on the lead lap. There's still time for him to get a good run in.
Oh, there's still very much time for him to get a good run in, so he's back in the swing of things. Can be back to fight. Looks like Justin Bondurant has called it a night. It looks like he will retire the number 9 car. So 2 drivers out. That leaves us left with 39 on the racetrack. 38 of which on the lead lap. A lot of cars. And also, this is going to look like an old-fashioned NASCAR restart here. We got 3 drivers up on the top lane. 4, I think, with Scioli. And everyone else on the bottom because they all came into pit.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Restart, only 4 cars on the outside lane. Everybody else lined up on the inside lane. I'm still not sure how this happens, but
it's when you pit coming to 1 to go, it just puts you out on the bottom lane. Doesn't double foul you up.
So what's the two of Mitchell doing back there?
I don't know. That's a great question, but we do know we got 4 drivers on the outside here. Drew will lead them on down. And we are back green here at Talladega. Drew Jr. will pull down to the bottom, trying to see if he can take the lead away. JT pulling behind Drew, and then in behind the 17 to 94, Robert Colgan. We haven't really mentioned all night long. He's now up in the front.
Yeah, and look how quick everything goes from just all the cars on the inside lane to 2 wide, and Jonathan Oates making an aggressive block back there on the 33 of Weishart. Very interesting move back there. This is right around the 18th position, so not sure what the move was there or what the deal was, but nonetheless, they're on different paths now as they're 3x3 up front with Jua leading.
3x3 fighting hard. Drew will lead, getting a shove in behind from his teammate in the 17. JT Poole leading the top lane, as well as Colgan on the bottom. Dom DeLeo as well up there on the bottom. And then I see Jake Nichols in behind the 73, Adam Cabot, Michael Curran all in tow, trying to move up forward after the pit stops. And I also see up there near the top, near the front, I see the 30 of Jeremy Miller.
Yeah, everyone's starting to get a little more accustomed to the 3-wide racing again. It's still the 13, 17, and 71 trio leading their way through. JT Poole leading that outside lane with Seth Knoll and Philip Groner. Meanwhile, Scioli has reappeared inside the top 10 as the field flies by through turn 4.
2x2 near the front, draw a big block. It's going to be JT Poole pull down to the bottom, or at least the middle, and we'll make it on through. The 13 is going to be left up to dry with the maneuver. And back he will go down the field, and he's going to have to try to find someone to work with to get back up there. And I see Brent Pucari potentially looking in the middle. That lane's opened up. Max Service, who we haven't seen near the front for quite a while, he's back up there now at 11. He's going to pick up 35.
He's going to try and get that middle lane going, or rely on people from the inside or outside lane, or both, to jump in and hightail it and make sure they get going, as the 17 will lead. And look at the outside lane. Noel Groner and Jeremy Miller leading the 32 of Poole on his own.
Poole put back fourth in line on the outside. Seth Knoll, Philip Groner, Solar Flare joining up once again up near the top. Whoa, Jonathan Oates, a big run to the top, trying to block a move from Jake Nichols, it looks like. And that's caused a check up in that outside lane. And Jacob Bell is up there 4 wide.
Yeah, that's Slaughter there in the 88 High Banks car, looking to find a hole, and looks like that'll be on the outside lane in front of Ed Robertson, the 64. So all things considered, that worked out well for the 88, and he's on the lane that's got the biggest run going. The inside lane stacking up, heading into 3. The middle lane still going. Coming through on the bumper of Brent Pucari is what Max Service sees, and that's exactly what the rest of the field is seeing. The middle lane's coming through, but looks like the other 2 lanes are starting to get moving. The outside lane stacking up, meanwhile the inside lane hightailing it off 4.
Yeah, you can kind of see and get an idea of how the lanes change in momentum. The one lane stops going, one lane starts going. The middle lane, it looks like at the moment, trying to lose out on the front straightaway. Max Service trying to make a move. There's Jonathan Oates diving to the inside, will leave the top lane and move on forward. Philip Groner trying to join as well, couldn't do it. Now he's stuck up on the top as the bottom lane gets a really big charge, led by Andrew Payne in the number 70.
Yeah, aggressive moves being made from the 45 of Jonathan Oates back there. He needs a win to get into the playoffs, so he's having to take all actions necessary and try to get up to the front, but these front 4 or 5 or so go in single file and starting to get everything rolling in their direction. The 71 of Newbigging up to 4th in the race. Meanwhile, the 1 and the 7 teammates, Seth Knoll, James Scully, running 5th and 6th, all chasing the leader, Andrew Payne, running up front.
Right on the back of Newbigging, see if anyone's having treacherous thoughts on this outside lane. Seth Knoll, we know that 1 is willing to lead people out and make his own moves. Looks like he's constantly looking down low, but not leaving quite yet. I see Jeremy Miller immediately leaving out of lane with a huge run on the inside, but nowhere to quite go without anyone behind him. Jonathan Oates, I saw him poke out of line. I see Jacob Bell scurrying his way down to the bottom, but that outside lane's got a huge lead, heading down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Oates was the one that actually went down with the 30, so he's going to try and give him a push. Meanwhile, here come the Solar Flare guys, dropping to the bottom. Seth Knoll, James Scully, looking to get a big run as the 30 and 45 catch him heading into turn, well, off the turn and into the front stretch, as Payne still leading with the Lucky Duck quartet running that outside lane.
There's all of them there on that outside. Look at them. They found themselves to the front. Lucky Duck, I got to say, a really surprising team. I thought they were going to struggle this season, but they managed to pull off some decent results here and there and be fairly consistent in the midfield. And here they are running, for the moment, they're running 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, and here come the other two lanes, the middle and the inside lane, starting to get some big pushes, starting to get closer and closer towards the front. The one of Knowles going to be side by side with Payne for the lead, and Jonathan Oates leads that middle lane with Jake Nichols behind, trying to get him a good shove, get alongside the leaders. And here comes the 7 of Skyly now jumping up to the middle lane.
Skyly trying to make some more noise in the second half of this race. Fairly quiet in the first half after getting kind of shuffled on back down the order. Never could quite get back up here for a while, but here he is leading the charge in the middle lane with Jonathan Oates, Jake Nichols, and Brad Sauter Jr. in tow.
Everything rolling nicely for the time being. Less than 30 to go here from Talladega, the Area Cup season finale for Season 6. So some guys needing to win to get in. You mentioned Jonathan Oates. He's 19th in points. He's running near the front. David Weishart's somewhere near the mid-pack portion of this field. But the one of Seth Knoll, he's got the most wins heading into this with, I believe, 5. Jeremy Miller's still looking for his first win. Jumps up to the outside lane, trying to get the lead.
And looks like he's almost able to take it. Not quite. It looks like Seth Knoll, I think, will lead this lap. Continue that charge on the outside. And Jacob Bell in the number 6, he's found himself up to second place.
Yeah, Jacob Bell is one of these guys where he could win and snatch a playoff spot from someone trying to lock themselves in. Again, some of these guys, their only way in the playoffs is with a win tonight. They cannot win at any other track and be locked in. This is their only time. It's the regular season finale. They got to give it everything they got. Jacob Bell, he's still looking for his first win. He's been screwed over time after time at the super speedway races, regardless of whether it's in Cup, in Pro Series, or in truck competition. So he's just looking to finally get that monkey off his back and get a win. Here comes the 70 of Andrew Payne with a strong run on the outside, being pushed by Drew Jua in the 13.
Drew giving a big shove to the back of the 70 to push that car near the front, and looks like he'll push his teammate to the lead at the moment. They'll lead up on the top side as the laps continue to tick away, closer and closer to the finish of this thing.
Yeah, the middle lane's starting to dive a little bit back. The other two lanes are starting to go further and further towards the front. Although as soon as I say that, JT Poole jumps down with Ricky Springer trying to get that middle lane generating again. And it's still the inside lane being led by Seth Knoll that's leading this race.
This is all lead for the 1. Jacob Bell, Michael Curran, Nick Silver in line. And Connor Kruzik, 14, I haven't really mentioned a whole lot about him. He's been having semi-decent run in the midfield, now kind of poking his head out near the end, trying to get that car lined up for a solid finish. But there goes the 45 Jonathan Oates to the top side, or at least the middle lane, and trying to pick up GT Poole and company.
Yeah, Nick Silver jumping up, and there goes some of the blocks being made, and there's Joe Kresik trying to block it. Oh, in the back! They're wrecking in front of the field. The cautions come out once more on lap 68. Plenty of cars taken out in this one. Robert Colgan, Finney mentioned, was one of the cars spinning out in this, and it looked like he might be the only one that was caught up in this, although that did happen mid-pack.
Yeah, I think he definitely got the worst end of that, and I think Andrew Payne as well. Take a look on board to see what happened to him. The number 94 machine. Oh, off the nose of the 70, got turned around, and for the most part, other than the 11, not a whole lot of damage to everyone else. That is genuinely surprising.
Yeah, that is surprising indeed. I'm not sure if Hukari actually made contact with the bumper of Colgan, but looked like he was just coming down and just misjudged it with the 70 of Payne.
Right on board with the number 70 of Andrew Payne. Is riding up on the top. There's a 94 goes inside. There's a 94 in front and around. He went in the opposite direction. But yeah, everyone else is able to give each other some decent room. And with that, that'll be caution number 3. We'll slow down the rate of this race. And a fairly lackluster caution, I gotta say. I'm still, even looking back at it again, I'm amazed more people were not involved in that.
Yeah, and we usually average about 4 yellows here at Talladega, and ironically enough, the last 3 times we've been here from season 3 onward have gone into overtime scenarios. So, very good chance we could see a 4th overtime scenario here. So, there's a look at the stats so far. I don't think that's right. 3 cautions for 2 laps. That would be a new record. But look, a lot of lead changes here. We usually average about 31 lead changes. Finian, we still have over 20 laps to go. And there are 46 lead changes, so it's very clear that these guys are, again, more suitable with their runs, and more guys are starting to get a little aggressive with being in the front, even though we still have over 20 laps left.
Yeah, I think a lot of it also, too, that number, that doesn't include the amount of lead changes in the middle of a lap. That's only lead changes coming back to the start-finish line, so that number realistically probably higher, but it's amazing how many different leaders, 17 different leaders so far in this race, and we are far from over, heading into the last little sprint here to the end. Majority of the field staying out. Well, I shouldn't say majority of the field. Half the field pretty much stayed out. I think a lot of drivers near the back, I want to say, have come in. That's actually a lie. A couple drivers not near the back have come in to pit. Notably, James Scally there down on pit lane. Jake Nichols. Actually, both of these, actually quite a few of these guys are down here for quite a while. Did Scally get damage out of that wreck? I don't think he did. Nichols, I think, might have gotten a little piece, but he's back out on the way. He spent a minute down on pit lane. Douglas Newbing, 40-some-odd seconds. Drew Drua, 58 seconds.
Might be repairing optional damage just to optimize the full capacity of the car.
Could be. Bill Garner was down there for quite a while. Same thing with Connor Horn as well in the 42. So I guess everyone getting final damage repaired and maybe topping off just a little bit on gas. So that way they're prepared in case we get a green-white checker, which is definitely a possibility.
That would add more life to the race, just like Elite Entertainment adds life to the party this fall. Add some with Elite Entertainment, located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina. Elite Entertainment provides high-quality band production to entertain at any location, including karaoke, Singo, which for those of you who are unaware of Singo, it's music bingo, and much more. Visit Linktree/Elite Entertainment LLC for all contact information. And Finian, you mentioned some guys who came down pit road and some guys stayed out. Well, the driver running 14th, Brad Slaughter, he's stayed out as well. He's got the High Banks podcast all aboard the 88 car, and the High Banks podcast is just 2 blue-collar guys, Nick and Alex, talking about NASCAR and more. Brad Slaughter was actually a part of one of their episodes, episode 205, and they also had an episode with Jacob Bell, who's restarting on the outside lane, episode 207, so both those episodes are out, and make sure you tune in to the High Banks podcast, available on Spotify.
Yeah, make sure you turn it to the end of this race here as we're entering close to the last 20 laps of this thing. And as we get ready for the restart, let's go through and reset your order. So starting first for the restart, it's going to be Seth Nolan number 1, then Jacob Bell. Lined up in second, as you mentioned, Hunter. Then Michael Curran in third. Nick Silver lined up in fourth. And then Bailey Turner in fifth. Or I should think technically Connor Kresick in fifth, then Bailey Turner in sixth.
Yeah, should be an interesting restart here. The laps are dwindling. The aggression level obviously going to rise as always, and should make for a fun finish. We've got guys like Nick Silver who are looking to win and get in. Jonathan Oates, whose only shot is to win and get in. And then we got guys like I almost said Jake Nichols, Jacob Bell, who just going out there to run races, try to win them. As we look at the point standings, you see Silver there, 13th in the standings. He is a good bit ways back in points, minus 29. Matthew Bell, Travis Beckner, although he's out, so that won't matter as well. Drew Jua, he's been up front. He has a good shot at winning. Greg Mitchell, Reese Schaefer looking for some things, and Jonathan Oates, Tyler Nichols, those guys need a win to get in. Otherwise, they are eliminated from playoff contention heading into the race next week, which consists of Bristol, Michigan, Iowa, Kansas, and Old Atlanta. Not the Super Speedway Atlanta, the Old Atlanta for the championship race. But Finian, we still have over 20 laps to determine a winner at Talladega.
See how they go as you get the restart here back underway. Seth Knoll will fire off as we get back green here at almost at Daytona, at Talladega, the different super speedway, as a block from the one goes up to Jacob Bell trying to hold him off. Here's Nick Silver working through the middle. Bell pushed out of line.
Yeah, Jacob Bell flashed there, so I'm not sure if he did that just to get out of the way, but he's stuck back in line. And now finds himself in an interesting spot running in the middle groove. Meanwhile, just in front of him, Bailey Turner running up front needs a win. Same with Nick Silver. He's back in the lead. They're getting more aggressive with their blocks in the 3.
And Bailey Turner, I'm not sure if he's trying to block or catch his teammate. He looked like almost a mix of both. Trying to get hooked up with the 07, make a run. There's Jonathan Oates in the middle going through by himself around Matthew Bell. Matthew Bell, we haven't talked a lot about, one of those drivers in a must-win situation. He's running strong up there in the top 10.
Yeah, Matthew Bell sitting 14th in points heading into tonight, so could still make it into the playoffs without a win, but a win just solidifies everything. Connor O'Kresick, though, leading the outside lane, trying to get a run and get alongside the leader of Silver, and he'll do just that. A massive run on the outside. Meanwhile, Jonathan Oates rocking a hard place in the middle, nowhere to go.
JT Poole, I saw him make a move to the inside lane, trying to follow through, and there's a block from the 14, holding his momentum up.
Yeah, Bailey Turner is outside the top 20 in points, so he needs to win to get in. That would put him inside the top 20 in points, which is playoff eligibility. So he's trying to do that, and he's got the 07 of Adam Cabot working with him.
Wide.
Oh, 4 wide. That's Springer in the 51. Nowhere to go. He'll get picked up by Brad Slaughter in the 88. But the two continue to work their way towards the back, and still Slaughter's now in the middle of 4 wide.
Oh, Jacob Bell working around Andrew Payne, Dom DeLeo on the bottom, 4 wide again, as there's Jake Nichols all the way in the back working on through, and there's Brad Slaughter getting poked back out of line in 35th. He's got a long way to go to the front.
A long way to go, short time to get there. 20 laps to go when they hit the stripe. Garrett Grant's jumped up to the middle. We haven't talked about the 5 all night. He, I believe, is too far back to be considered playoff eligible, but we'll see what that 5 car can do, if he can play spoiler or if he can lock himself in with a win. Got a good shove going from Connor O'Kresick.
Trying to find where he is on the timing and the scoring. And there he is climbing up through the order, up to 4th, up to 3rd, trying to see if he can get 2nd. With a huge head full of steam, a push from Connor O'Kresick on the top side, followed by Everett Shuri Jr., Reese Schaefer, and out of turn 2, I think he'll get it. There he goes up into the lead. Question is, can he maintain it to the start-finish line, at least get a lap led? Connor O'Kresick going to push him on through. Actually, both of them are going to clear, so is Everett Shuri Jr. and Reese Schaefer. In the 97, haven't mentioned about him all night long, as a big block from Garrett Grant is going to push O'Kresick up, and O'Kresick will be left behind as Garrett Grant comes back down. Bailey Turner going to lead a charge on the outside with Adam Cabot, Mason Kane, and then Reese Schaefer going to jump up to join Edward Shearer Jr. as they go around the 5.
Yeah, they try to jump up to the outside lane, but couldn't get it done in time. Turner will lead that time through. Shearer Jr. and Reese Schaefer in the 97. And here comes Mason Kane in the 31, diving down to the inside. JT Poole going down as well. A real aggressive move from the 31 to 32, trying to get back in the lead down the back.
Here comes Drew up by himself on the top side. And I think that's Emerson Arden. He's going to try to join him, and the 57 is going to go up there to push.
Yeah, but look at the front 3 driving away from the rest of the pack. 3 wide behind Mason Kane, JT Poole, Ed Shearer Jr. in the 17, all trying to drive away. But here comes the 25 of Bailey Turner trying to get reconnected with 4th place, actually 3rd place Ed Shearer Jr. They're starting to separate now, and that's not good for him because these guys are going to swallow him up heading into turn 1 with a massive run.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a huge run for them. trying to catch back up, riding on board with Bailey Turner. Look at the head full of steam he has. Immediately going to go to the top side. Gets a little bit of a shove from Adam Cabot. Actually going to lose out on Adam Cabot and goes up the block on Seth Knoll out of turn 2.
Yeah, Turner needs everything he can. He's 21st in points. That win would be so crucial for him to solidify his spot in the playoffs. But he's going to get left from the 1 of Knoll and the 13 of Jua. Emerson Arden is making his way inside the top 5. Turner's now going to leave the outside lane as Knoll goes to the lead. Oh, trouble! They're almost spinning. There they go in the back. Jeremy Miller spins, and the caution is going to come out once more at Talladega. Car spinning to the inside wall. I believe that was that Jake Matheson in the 54 that spun to the inside?
It was.
That was. That all started with a checkup from around, I believe, 12th on, and it trickled its way down to where Jeremy Miller spun out.
Take a look from up above to see what caused all the chaos. There's that checkup on the 25. Tapped Adam Cabot, and there goes Brad Slaughter, ends up taking around the 30. But for the most part, didn't get up until really the end there, didn't really get a whole lot of damage. Right on board from his point of view. Huge checkup there, everyone got loose, and then almost made it through, and then tapped around he went.
Yeah, that was a very close call there. That a big one happened in the middle of the corner is not a pretty sight to see. Here's the 54 of Matheson. Watch the 22 of DeLeo. He's going to come down and kind of hip check him into the inside wall.
And is everyone trying to avoid him? And there's the tap, and around he went. Oh, decent lick for the 54.
Yeah, that's not good for him, but regardless, he's locked into the playoffs, so no need to worry for the 54. But 17 to go, Finian. Some of these guys, you're going to come in and pit for that fuel, or if you're close to it?
Maybe not. I mean, I think at this point you might have saved enough, so I think drivers are just going to hang out there and carry on. I think they feel the fuel things are good enough to go till the end. So most of the drivers, it looks like, are going to be staying out. So a couple drivers near the back coming in. I think it's mostly the drivers that got damaged on the last caution. So they'll get some repairs and get back out there as the laps continue to tick off more and more. And as we get closer to the end of this thing, I think things are just going to get a little bit more spicy, almost like Rick's Hot Sauce. Head over to rickshot.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series to see which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. And then also want to mention shop.areaiRacing.com. Race fans, visit shop.areaiRacing.com for high quality merchandise at low prices. Shop from over 100 selections of t-shirts, hats, champion brand clothing, and more area accessories. Easier to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. Shop.areaiRacing.com. As we head into the final stretch of things, how about Emerson Arden in the 57 making some noise?
Yeah, Emerson Arden, we really haven't talked too much about him. He's started quite a way back in 26, but looking at his point situation, he's trying to find where he's at. He's 33rd in points, so he's too far back to where a win would help him, but pretty sure he'd get some satisfaction in taking away a win and an opportunity from someone who needs that win on the outside looking in, like the 13 of Drew Jua or even Jacob Bell or anyone with a good shot at trying to make the playoffs. So really interesting here because this is the beauty about Talladega. Guys that have essentially no shot week in, week out. It's an even level playing field. Arden hasn't had the best of seasons, but he's up here. Same with Ed Shearer Jr. He's had a somewhat solid season. The 17 of Shearer Jr. has. He's got that last playoff spot, and he actually would probably benefit the most from a win because if a new driver wins and he doesn't have a good enough race, he's out of the playoffs because he's 12th in the standings right now. But running in 9th, still with a solid chance to win. And the 97 of Reese Schaefer, he's one of those guys who basically needs a win to get in.
Yeah, trying to take a look at some of the other drivers in essentially a must-win situation. And really, for Everett Street Jr., I think the game plan, he doesn't necessarily need to win, but needs to finish well. I think either that or you can try to outright win because, like you mentioned, being last place in the playoff standings and 12th, that last seed, he's at risk in case one of these other drivers gets a win. They'll get booted out. Taking a look at Nick Silver, currently sitting 13th in the points, essentially must win for him. Trying to look and find where is Matthew Bell in the number 8. He's currently sitting in 20th for the restart. There he is, 14th. Travis Beckner, of course, we mentioned, is out. Drew Druo, we covered. He's 16th. Greg Mitchell, he is... Where's Greg Mitchell at? He's right outside of him. He is sitting currently in 17th. Reese Schaefer, you mentioned, 18th. Jonathan Oates, he's been up there at 45. Currently sitting in 13th. And then Tyler Nichols as well in the 41. He's at an up and down day. He is in 25th.
Oh boy. Well, this one's far from over, Finian, but yeah, I'm not really sure where the winner of this race is going to come from. I mean, we've had last lap passes with Ricky Springer and Spencer Burns from Season 3 and Season 5. I don't know if we'll reach our overtime limit. We have 3 attempts at a green-white checker, I should say. But, yeah, I'm not really sure what's going to happen here or if the winner's even inside the top 10. It can be somewhat as far back as Ricky Springer. He's restarting 28th, but he could work some magic and dodge some wrecks and find himself in a good spot. So you never really know where the winner's going to come from. But we do know that the restart's going to come from Seth Knoll in the 1.
And we'll see how they'll play this out here. Field working through. To collect the green, 14 laps to go. As we get ready to finish things off here at Seth Knoll. Leads them down to green. Immediately go up high, join Drew Jua and the 14 of Connor Okrezik. Emerson Arden going to charge down to the bottom. Mason Kane and Bailey Turner in behind.
Arden and Kane working together. The middle lane starting to get separated now. Adam Cabot leading that third lane on the outside. Bad bump from the 13. Drew Jua is going to lead the middle lane now, but it's Emerson Arden leading the field in the 3.
And getting flanked in that middle lane. He's not really going anywhere. Now finally gets a little bit of momentum. It gets blocked on all sides. Drew Jua. As Seth Knoll joins the middle lane. Mason Kane in front. Emerson Arden looking like he might lead a lap here if things remain. A big block from the 1. Goes up to join Drew Jua. Mason Kane on the bottom trying to withhold the momentum. Back at the line. It'll be Seth Knoll that'll lead this lap.
Yeah, Kane tried to block the run from the 1 of Knoll, but to no avail. Garrett Grant's now going to jump in the middle lane and lead that line through. And the first 3 cars, once again, single file. Emerson Arden on the bottom, trying to get back up. And here's Peyton Howell in the 52. Strong run on the outside.
Really strong run for him. Haven't seen Peyton Howell in a little while, but here he is back up with a charge. We know we've seen him with Blaze McKinney. McKinney actually nowhere to be seen at the moment. I think there he's back in the order, that yellow Menards car. He's disconnected from his partner from the first half of this race, but that 52 car definitely strong as he's on the bottom. And Adam Cabot trying to make something happen by himself in the middle.
Strong run for the 07, but he's got no help, or the Bailey Turner machine will jump up. No, I'm not going to lead that time through. I think Howell led it. I'm not sure by how much, but I'm willing to bet it was 3 1,000ths of a second.
Probably extremely close here as they head off into turns 1 and 2. Look at the run in the middle lane. They're getting hooked up and off. They go off the corner. Fantastic run there. Cabot tried to look high, but the block from the 1.
Yeah, now that outside lane's starting to get stacked up. Might see an accordion effect, and the 70 of Payne's going to drop down low. But in front of him, the 07 of Cabot's going to drop low with Bailey Turner. 609 Motorsports drivers 1, 2 through 4.
They're going to take it up to the top. Try to keep the momentum going. Bailey Turner going to leave out his teammate, go down low. Not sure if that was on purpose or if they're trying to coordinate going down low, but Bailey Turner get pushed out of line. It'll be Seth Knoll over the back of the 07, Drua, Payne, and Silver.
Now look at Senesac pick him up on the bottom. He was 1 lap, maybe 2 laps down at one point in the race. He's inside trying to fight for that top 10 spot. He's pushing the 25 of Turner off 2 and down the backstretch, and a bit of a wonky bump there, but the 09 of Senesac still with a fighting chance.
Still a fighting chance. Inside lane's lost momentum. Whoa! And there's Garrett Grant getting turned over. Going to be a wreck down on the out of turn 3. And the caution will fly once more, or not.
No, that's got to fly.
There we go. Took a while. Took Douglas Newing to loop it around to bring out the caution officially.
Yeah, Mason King was spinning. Not sure if Jacob Bell was in it. That was really weird.
I was going to say, surely that had to be a caution.
It was up there with the 5 of Garrett Grant and Mason Kane. I'm not sure. It looked like Okrezik did something in front of him and they were checking up for it, but it happened right around there, the 5 and the 31.
Take a look and see what happened to cause it up there. Well, there's 14 that got out of line, caused a little bit of a checkup, and then really it was the 31 that hooked the 5, and around everyone else went. Oh, Mason King had a huge hit to the outside wall.
That David Weishart spinning, that's not what he needed to see.
And the 14 somehow saving that. He was wicked sideways from the bump from the 32 of JT Poole, and then there's everyone else going for a loop.
Yeah, Newbigging, Mitchell. Yeah, Weishart did get Wow Patel. That's not good for the 33.
They got tagged by Mason Kane at the end, who went into Jeremy Miller. Out on board with 33. There's a stack up, and there they went around, and he almost avoided all of it. Avoided the 2. And just got tagged by the 31 there at the end. Avoided the 32 as well. By the 31 car. Here's the hit into the 5. Oh, man. I think Seth Berger got a decent run through it. I think he made it on through relatively unscathed. Right on board with him. Nope, this is Mason King. What happened to... There's Seth Berger. A little bit of tap, a little bit of a wobble, and whoa! Look at that! It's like Lightning McQueen.
My gosh, that
Ka-chow!
might be up there for
at the end there.
That might be up there for Wreck Avoidance of the Year.
And as you head back live on the pit lane, a bunch of drivers down there getting repairs. Jake Nichols, I think, got a decent piece of that, so he's getting repairs to 73. Not worst case scenario for him. Jake Matheson is worst case for David Weiser getting repairs to his car. One of the drivers in a must-win. Same thing with Reese Schaefer. Not where they wanted their race to end up. I think for the most part it's all optional, so they should be able to get back out there, but as we take a look and see the field working their way on through. And, well, I think we're not in green-white checkered territory. We're awfully close. Do we think we're going to have to use any attempts?
I think we use one. We keep the streak going. It's been 3 straight seasons. It's happened for a reason. These guys just, towards the end of the race, they just get a little more comfortable with the moves that they're making, whether it's an aggressive bump or an aggressive block or an aggressive dive or an aggressive send. Should be interesting, nonetheless, to see which driver comes out on top. Right now, that is the one of Seth Knoll who's leading the way. Drew Joe is in second. Andrew Payne up 31 positions, actually 28 positions. He started 31st. He's up to third in the 70 car. And Andrew Payne looking at, where is he in points? I'm not sure. He is behind David Weishart in points, so he needs a win to get in. I think he's the last car that's eligible to win and clinch himself in the top 20, which would lock himself in. Bailey Turner is another driver who's on the outside of the top 20 in points, so his only ticket is a win to the to get into the playoffs, and he's going to restart 9th.
Yeah, then also taking a look at some other drivers outside that top 20 that need a win. Philip Groner, he's been up and down the order at the moment, kind of smack dab in the middle. As high as second place in the lead lap, but high as second place, low as 39th. He's been all over the map. And now he's going to restart in 22nd. I'll pretty much wrap up most of the drivers and the rest we covered earlier on. So Seth Knoll and Drew Drua, quite a few drivers up here near the front that need to win. And it almost makes you wonder how aggressive these final few laps are going to be. I would say, I mean, the whole entire race has been extremely aggressive, which is, I joked about it before. These guys are racing like there was 5 laps to go. Well, now we're quite literally going to have 5 laps to go. We're going to restart with 7. And that makes me almost nervous a little bit, Hunter.
Makes you nervous, makes me even more nervous just seeing the way these guys are racing, and going to be fun to look at which driver is going to come out on top, what move's going to be made. Do we see a last lap pass, or do we use all 3 green, white checker attempts and end the race under caution? Certainly don't want that to happen, but that's always a possibility that could take place. One thing we haven't mentioned yet, the battle for the regular season title. So Seth Knoll is leading the standings by 16 points ahead of teammate Jake Nichols. So those two are really the only drivers in contention for the regular season title, which does carry bonus points heading into the playoffs. And Jake Nichols quite a bit ways back in 28th, but the big one could happen from anywhere, and all it takes is one bad block, one bad bump, and who knows, maybe the one of Knoll goes around, but for the time being, he'll restart as the leader with 7 laps to go.
There's definitely the chance of a big one happening. We haven't really seen the big one. We've seen the medium one, if anything. 35 cars are still on the lead lap, and we still have quite a bit of racing left to go. 7 laps to go till the end of the schedule distance of this race. We'll see if we even need overtime. We are back green here at Talladega with Seth Knoll leading them on down on the outside lane. An aggressive push from Adam Cabot in behind, and the 07 trying to push him up to the lead.
He's actually going to dive down and try to take the lead for himself, so he's looking to get another win, get some momentum swinging in the right direction heading into the playoffs. Meanwhile, Knoll's going to be caught. No, he's going to get picked up by JT Poole on the outside.
And they're not really making a whole lot of headway, though, as Adam Cabot, Drew Drua, they're pushing on the bottom. Andrew Payne, Nick Silver, Okrezik, Turner, and Senizak in this group. And there I see Peyton Howell. I saw him dash to the top from the bottom, and he'll pick up Seth Knoll and JT Poole in the top lane.
Yeah, Payne Howell with a strong run. Meanwhile, the Bailey Turner machine was looking like he wanted to go up. Not going to do that, but Knoll's going to be 3 wide now with Cabot leading the way. 6 laps to go.
Through they go. Seth Knoll trying to make some moves on the middle lane. Peyton Howell gets pushed up top and out of the way. Mostly a single file charge to the front. As I say that, here comes Tyler Nichols in the 41.
Tyler Nichols with a strong run from Seth Knoll in the 1. Oh, spin in the back! Oh, that's to the inside, but Jonathan Oates spins to the outside of the racetrack. Not sure if that's going to trigger a caution. Matthew Bell, oh, look out, the yellow will come out. So I think unofficially we will have a green-white checker, but I don't think it'll count as an overtime restart.
Trying to get him on the timing scoring. Finally was able to get him at the end when everything cleared. Take a look on what caused him to get spun around. That was a very slow wreck. Looks like they were just almost 4 wide there for a second and ran out of room.
And Jonathan Oates being that far back, he was 19th in points. His only way to make the playoffs is with a win. And he was going nowhere with Peyton Howell leading the way, got into the outside wall, so he tried to come down, block the run from the 8, and they just made contact there, and nothing else he could do. That's going to bunch everyone back up. Was that Slaughter that got in it?
Might have been. Matthew Bell also getting a decent leg with that one, a championship competitor, and that was the 88 of Slaughter that got on through. Where is he? I think he might have called it a race, but I'm right on board with him. Coming ahead and just clipped the 8 there.
Yeah, right on the left front for that 88 car.
And see the spark sting and took out his left front.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate end to the night there for Brad Slaughter, but he will watch the rest of the race from above or from whatever camera he chooses to watch the race from. But 5 laps to go. I think some of these guys are, I don't know if they're close on fuel. I'm not sure when some of these guys last pitted, but
it's been a while, but I think they should have enough. We spent quite a few laps pacing, so I don't think fuel is too much of an issue. Now, if we do 3 green-white checkers, probably. I think that's definitely a concern. But as it stands at the moment, I think they are good on fuel.
All right, so Cabot still leads the way. Drew Jua in second, probably going to need a win. Where is he at in the point standings? He is below 12th, so a win would propel him in. Looking at Andrew Payne in the 70. I think Payne is far enough down in the standings where, no, he's 24th, so a win would put him in the top 20, which would lock him in. Nick Silver also would like a win to get in. I mean, all these guys would like wins to get in, but it's just a matter of completing that task. Connor Okrezik as well. I think he's too far. Yeah, Okrezik's too far back in points, but a win for him could take away an opportunity from someone like Drew Jua or Nick Silver to lock into the playoffs.
And Nick Silver, you can see there, currently sitting in 4th place. So close to locking himself, moving himself up to the next round of the playoffs, and was an alternate for Slinger Racing Esports Graphics, and then got subbed into a main ride. Trying to see if he can carry on with the team and move themselves on to the next round and join his teammates in the next round. And it's just a handful of laps from potentially seeking that out. The 99 car has been strong all day long up near the front, so has the 13 and the 70 actually as of late.
I think we should get one to go this time by, which would, I believe, would put us in unofficial green-white checker territory.
So we'll have technically 4 attempts at a green-white checkered, including the unofficial one, as things work out. Do you think we're going to have to?
I think we get maybe one official green-white checker attempt, but not really sure if we get to 2 or 3.
I actually wanted to talk about who is it that you picked to win this race?
Greg Mitchell.
Greg Mitchell, where is he running? He's running 20th.
He was caught up in a wreck.
Yeah. I picked Jonathan Oates, who went spinning around in that last wreck. The wreck's not doing too hot this race.
Yeah. Kahar's probably going to pick whoever wins the race. Be like, yep, that was my pick. That was my pick the whole time.
I totally picked him before we went green.
He'd probably be like, oh, my pick's the 07 of Cabot. Yeah, okay, cool.
My pick is, looks at the race results, I don't know. But speaking of results, we'll find out in just a handful of minutes, potentially in the next couple, if this is our one and only run to the finish, who the 12 playoff drivers will be. We know half of them for the most part, and it's just a matter of sorting out the drivers without the wins. Who's going to be in, who's going to be out. And there's so much riding on this, so much that can happen in just 2 laps time. Like I said, still yet to see a big wreck, still yet to see the big one. And we have seen some massive wrecks on the white flag lap.
Yeah, they make it to that white flag, all bets are off. You can wreck and not have the race end under caution, so I would expect that to happen if we do make it to the white flag.
As they work their way through 3 and 4, we'll set the field for you. Drew Jua leading the field on down. Adam Cabot, Andrew Payne, Nick Silver, Okrezik, Turner, Senezek, Bell, Tyler Nichols, Seth Knoll, your top 10. And that order can easily change in just 1 lap or 2. Pace car will make the turn off to pit lane. Got 2 laps to go. An unofficial green-white checkered here under scheduled distance. Can Drew Jua get a win? Or could Nick Silver get a win? Or could Andrew Payne get a win to lock themselves into the playoffs? We will find out. Slow run through the trial into the restart zone. Off away they will go. We are back green here at Talladega. Adam Cabot coming on down to secure that lead. And Nick Silver has got an open lane up top.
Yeah, these guys are going to be pushing as aggressive as they've been all night long, especially those that are up front that need a win to advance. The 99 of Silver, the 25 of Turner, jumping up to the outside lane. Strong run. They're going to take the lead down the backstretch.
Oh, and Drew spun off the nose and will remain green. He's out of it at the moment. Andrew Payne working around Adam Cabot that got lost in momentum from that. And the pushing's already starting here as we go through 3 and 4.
Nick Silver leading the way with Bailey Turner behind. Jacob Bell looking to play spoiler. Meanwhile, Seth Knowles closing in. He's up to 4th. Ed Shearer Jr. runs 5th. They're going to work their way through the tri-oval, trying to make it to the white flag. Could see an official race here. Looks like they're going to come through unscathed. White flag from Talladega for the final time.
Yep, it's going to be official. Let's see how they'll make it back. Nick Silver, Bailey Turner, both of them need a win to make it through the playoffs. Who's going to overtake who? And we got Jacob Bell. He's just looking for a win in this thing.
He's going to jump up with Seth Knoll. He's going to have a strong run down the backstretch. Silver's going to block. Jacob Bell is going to stay behind the 99 for the time being, trying to make a move to the inside, but he'll just go to the outside. He's in the wall. Silver leads. Here comes everyone through 3.
4 wide. Oh, massive wreck through 3 and 4 as they work their way on through.
The server's glitching as the field's coming to the finish. Unbelievable. And Blaze McKinney is running in the lead. Here comes Tyler Nichols as the server's trying to hold itself together. Coming through the tri-oval for the final time. Tyler Nichols, he'll have a run to the outside. McKinney blocks, but it's going to be Tyler Nichols at the line. Tyler Nichols snatches one at the last second from Blaze McKinney. The server holds on, and Tyler Nichols gets his first career Area Cup Series win.
How about that? What a fantastic job for the 41 there. By 28 thousandths of a second, he somehow usurped McKinney there at the line. Oh boy. And what a shot. And you can imagine that Solar Flare, they're going to be ecstatic that one of their own, he finally got his win done.
It was a long time coming for Tyler Nichols, and you know what? He was within range, so that locks him into the playoffs as well. So both Jake and Tyler Nichols are going to have a shot at winning a championship this season. And it came down to a last lap pass in the tri-oval where the start-finish line would have been at, say, Daytona. The 87 and McKinney would have won, but Tyler Nichols had a massive run, and Drafty Car gets the win for the 41 and for Solar Flare Racing.
Tyler Nichols looking like he's getting ready to burn it down and celebrate a win well earned there to manage to sort his way through the chaos there on that final lap. There he goes, parks it on the start-finish line, or tries to park it on the start-finish line as Seth Nolan gets his damaged car through, and there is Solar Flare celebrating on the front straightaway, and there is Tyler Nichols and Jake Nichols burning it down.
All 4 Solar Flare cars are locked into the playoffs, so literally a third of the championship contenders are out of the Solar Flare Racing camp.
As the teammates burn it down, let's take a look and see how that finish went out. That was absolutely intense there at the line. Almost too intense for the sim to handle. You're going to have to go through your final lap, and I think the biggest thing will be to ride on board with the 41 to see where he was. And riding on board with the 41 here at coming out of turn 2 on the white flag lap.
Behind the 09 is Senesac, and then the carnage starts to unfold after Bell gets blocked into the outside wall.
And here's the big wreck in 3 and 4 that they were trying to work their way on through.
The seas parted. The servers were trying to keep the intensity as much as they can.
And I'm just amazed at how he was able to snake his way through, get the slipstream, get the draft, and work his way on through to get past McKinney right there at the end. Whew.
Unbelievable finish. Unbelievable run from the 41 of Tyler Nichols. What a feeling that's got to be for him and for Jake Nichols as well to see his brother finally come through and shine in a big moment. And I don't know if we can go back and look at that wreck, but a lot happened there with the 07 of Adam Cabot. But
I am going to say we probably can't go and look at the wreck, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The sim is not liking the amount of cars on the racetrack, but there's Nichols able to work his way on through. And I want to try to see if I can get slow-mo here.
And props to the 87 and McKinney as well. I mean, he did door slam him here, but He could have just driven him all the way up to the outside wall, just completely fenced him.
Oh.
He didn't. He just door banged him a little bit, and what a finish that was. I know second sucks, but unbelievable finish from the 87 of Blaze McKinney.
Again, I think that'll be probably the closest way I can get at the line. There's your gap for your winner there, the 41 over the 87. Well, how about that? As we look through... Let's look at the finishing order. We'll look through your race results here. Tyler Nichols taking the win over Blaze McKinney, Bailey Turner, Connor Kresick, Jake Nichols rest of your top 5, and Matheson, Arden, Springer, Bell, and Peyton Howe rounding out your top 10 as a chaotic last lap unfolded.
Yeah, I'm still trying to catch my breath from that, and I wasn't even a part of the race. Just rolling through. Trying to get the finishing results up. My ATVO is starting to crash out, but now it's up. Connor Horn finished 11th. Bryce Senesac 12th. Brent Pumkari, solid 13th place finish. That's his best finish of the season. Garrett Grant 14th. Douglas Zubiging 15th. Seth Knoll. Ryan Swan, he was 4 laps down at one point, Finian. 4 laps down. He comes through for a 17th place finish. I'm sure that's not the result he wanted, but that's the result he'll take, given how his race went. Jonathan Oates, the Cinderella run short, had a solid car, didn't get the win, finishes 18th. Jacob Bell 19th, he was second on the last lap. Then the carnage unfolded, and JT Poole, he rounds out the top 20.
Moving on back to 21st, Greg Mitchell in the number 2. He's going to finish there. Seth Berger, Max Service, Drew Chura. Unfortunately for him, he got spun out on the white flag lap, and it was all over for him. What could have been a solid run, what could have been a win potentially for the 13. Then you head back 25th, Michael Curran, Ed Robertson, Everett Sherry Jr. in 27th. Silver back in 28th, unfortunately for him. Adam Cabot, Andrew Payne, your top 30.
And then we look at the rest of the guys that are running through. Skyoli 31st, Tom DeLeo 32nd, Reese Schaefer 33rd, Philip Groner and Weissar 34th, 35th, and Jeremy Miller, Brad Slaughter, Robert Colgan, Mason Kane, Justin Bondurant round out the top 40, and then the last two being Travis Beckner 41st. Cameron Hearn unfortunately did not make it for a lap in the race, so he finishes 42nd.
Yeah, unfortunately for Travis Beckner, again, a strong car, just what could have been for the 28 machine. But as we finish up through our order, we'll get to talk with Bailey Turner in the 25. And well, Bailey, unfortunately, you were trying to go for the win. You're trying to lock yourself in the playoffs. Unfortunately, didn't quite end up that way, but you still managed to rebound for a solid third place in what was a chaotic final lap. Walk us through your finish.
Yeah, first off, Finian, it's been way too long. Glad to
been way too long.
Yeah, just kind of a chaotic race from the beginning. I think Jake said his spotter said clear early in the race and gave me some pretty significant damage on the right side. And from that point on in the race, just I felt like I didn't have any top end speed. Got collected in one of the wrecks and was kind of just thinking, man, if I could just be behind somebody pushing them, like I was pushing whoever it was in front of me there towards the end, felt like I could be in a pretty good position. And as I started to lay back to set up a run, I think it was Jacob and Seth were doing the same exact thing, and then they pulled my right rear and kind of was just along for the ride there. I knew I had my teammate, Adam Cabot, who was a great help throughout the whole night. He was pretty committed to helping me out when he could. And, yeah, just wish I would have. I guess I should have taken Blaze's lane through the middle there and kept that momentum up. And unfortunately, once you lose momentum on these plate races, and then you're side drafting with somebody else, you're kind of taking yourself out of it. So unfortunate, but it kind of sums up this season so far. It's just been tough to put together some consistent finishes, and when you do pull a strategy, there's cautions that kind of ruin it, things like that, and just not having the overall pace. So probably a good thing I didn't waste a playoff spot, but man, I was that close.
Well, it was definitely a solid run for you, and I mean, silver lining, at least you can pretty much race the final few races out and try to just go for wins, not having to worry about the points. So really looking at the rest of the races, where do you look at potentially getting yourself a win?
What's the next race?
Hunter, if you can get on that. I don't know off the top of my head.
The next one.
I believe it's Bristol.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I enjoy Bristol. It should be it's a little different here in the next gen car compared to some of the other cars, but yeah, I'm excited for the rest of the schedule. Like you said, just opportunity to kind of go out there and not worry about points and kind of go for wins. So obviously we have enough respect for those playoff guys where you don't ruin their races or do anything stupid. But yeah, Excited for the rest of the season. Excited to go for some wins, and just thanks to everybody over there at 609 Motorsports and Matt Liveries for all they do every week, kind of showing up every single week with a different scheme.
All right, well, Bailey, thanks for talking to us. Hopefully not the last time this season, so best of luck for the rest of the playoffs.
Hopefully. Thanks, guys.
All right, and with that, we'll move on to our second place finisher, Blaze McKinney. Blaze, we honestly thought you pretty much had that locked up there up until the final couple hundred feet, where Tyler Nichols came flying at you out of nowhere. Walk us through how the final lap went for you, because that was a huge amount of chaos.
Yeah, the last lap, I mean, I was just kind of committed to just pushing and just hoping for the best. We were running like, I think 14th at the white flag, and I was just like, all right, we're not gonna have a shot. We're just gonna try to get as many spots as we can. And they all wrecked going into 3, and I just kept my foot in it and hoped that the seas parted, and they did. And I thought I had it too, because they were all side drafting back there, and then Tyler just got a heck of a run, and he crossed me up. He really did. I tried to block, but was a little too late on it, and just tried to drag him back before the line. I couldn't do it, but I mean, a great move by him. He did a great job just breaking my ankles. But I mean, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Great race. I really wish I could have held on there, but just the hectic last lap like it usually is here at Dega.
Yeah, really just looking at, well, now finally, as we essentially locked yourself into the playoffs, looking for the rest of the playoffs, obviously no win for you this season so far. Any chance you feel like you can turn that around in the next couple of tracks coming up?
No, I definitely think so. I feel like there's been a lot of missed opportunities this year. That I think we just, as long as I can clean it up a little bit, definitely gonna have some chances to win here in the playoffs. I think we can make a good run. This is a good start. I know it's the end of the regular season, but just kind of getting some momentum, getting a good finish, and at least having a chance to win. But the next few races, I like a lot of these tracks, so hopefully we can start turning the momentum around.
All right, Blaze, solid second place finish for you in an intense battle to the end. I'll let you go and wish you luck for the rest of the playoffs.
All right, thank you.
And with that, we'll cut to our final interviewee, Tyler Nichols. Tyler, where on earth did you come from through that? Because we watched you right on board. We went through your final lap from your onboard, so we did see where you came from, but you came flying, cutting through the field there. Walk us through how you were able to pull that off.
First, I just want to thank Drafty Car for sponsoring us tonight, and Solar Fair Racing. Everybody that's believed in me, believed in my ability to do this, to get a win somehow. All race, I was working my way back to the front if I fell back. Had some damage in the pits with JT Pool, and that's okay. We still found a way back up front. Follow the momentum. That's all I wanted to do, just follow the momentum. Listen to Seth and them if they had anything to say. We kind of got split apart, so I just did what I had to do to keep making moves. And I had a feeling they were wrecking. They said we're wrecking. Seth and them said they were wrecking, so I went low. That's like the automatic thing. Everybody's going to drift up high. I got lucky. I got lucky to get through that, and then I was all four. I was gonna either push Connor or go low and go middle. He didn't block me really, so I just went middle, and I didn't think I had a chance. At that point, I accepted second place. I was like, I'm not winning this race. There's no way. But I'm good with this. And Jake's like telling me, make your move. Just do what you gotta do. Do what you feel comfortable with. And I just decided I was going high, and he blocked. And thankfully, it wasn't like early enough block, and I had a chance, and he doored me, and that was fine. I was racing. It was awesome. I can't believe it. I can't remember half the lap. I forgot we even wrecked in 3 and 4 because that was crazy. I'm shocked that I won that race.
Well, it's definitely a solid job for you. And I just wanted to ask, what was the plan? Were you planning on sticking with your teammates the entire time, or were you willing to kind of pull out a line? You were talking about following the momentum. Were you willing to kind of ditch them out to follow the momentum forward?
I told Seth that if we can get together, I'll work with you and you can push me or whatever, but I'm not going to mess our chances up just by trying to find him. Same with James or anybody behind me. The whole race, the plan was to work together. We kept getting split apart, and I was in the back to start the race. But if we could work together, I wanted to do that. But I knew that I was following momentum there, no matter what. And I wasn't going to ditch him intentionally. It was just I'm going to go where I need to go because I have to win the race and he doesn't. And it worked out. I got lucky and used a little bit of just foreshadow of I'm going to go low because I did it at Daytona to get around to finish 5th. It didn't take Joey Hendry to win this one, which is interesting, but I'm just so happy. I can't believe it. I made the playoffs somehow. All 4 of us in the playoffs. I don't know what I can do. I love Bristol. I'm happy to race there and gonna do the best I can to try to advance somehow. But I'm so happy. I'm elated that all 4 of us are in the playoffs, and Phil's had a pretty good season too. So it's unbelievable to me.
All right, well, Tyler, I'll let you go celebrate and enjoy this one. It's a fantastic, well-earned victory for you and the 41 team. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a good night.
You too. And with that, Hunter, it's going to be wrapping up interviews here from Talladega. And oh boy, does it never fail to deliver.
It does not. I mean, that about sums it up. Perfect. The winner could come from anywhere in the field. And mentioned it, I believe Tyler Nichols led only one lap in his win. Could be wrong in that. Let me go ahead and double check that. But nonetheless, phenomenal finish. It's his 79th start in Cup competition for Tyler Nichols. Got to go all the way back to season 2 at Daytona where it all began, and just unbelievable that whole last lap. I'm surprised the server held up. I'm pretty sure he's glad that the server held up as well. Unbelievable last lap. That's the word of the night, just unbelievable. And with that win, Finian, he is the furthest driver that's come from behind to win. He started 28th in this field, only led one lap, and it was the most important one.
Indeed it was. Well, there's still more laps to come for the rest of the season as this series heads off to Bristol. But for the rest of the series, the Truck Series tomorrow night and the Pro Series on Thursday night, they're going to be wrapping up their regular seasons also at Talladega to determine their final playoff field. So definitely stay tuned for that. But for tonight, my name is Finney Kuna here with Hunter Sleppy, and we're going to be signing out here from Talladega. Thank you for watching.